Chapter 1057. Outside the ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan, many elders of the Namhuang clan had arrived. When Qin Wendian arrived, Namhuang Yunshi was surrounded by the crowd, surrounded by a middle-aged couple. The man exuded a sense of gentleness, while the woman exuded a dignified aura, exuding a sense of nobility and elegance. She was like a sister to Namhuang Yunshi, but she was actually Namhuang Yunshi's mother. "Ha, Yunshi, very good performance." An old man laughed. This old man was someone of the grandfatherly generation of Namhuang Yunshi. Namhuang Yunshi was able to become the holy successor and have the power to contend against the Southern Phoenix matriarch. She would be heavily nurtured by the Namhuang clan. They were naturally very happy. Her cultivation base actually broke through to the second level of Immortal Foundation. Qin Wendian stared at the beautiful woman in the middle of the crowd. Her aura changed slightly, becoming even more beautiful and holy. The path to Immortal Foundation was extremely difficult. One had to walk step by step, and it was very difficult to break through in a short period of time. Only those ancient clans with countless years of inheritances would be able to pass down their inheritance, allowing them to increase their cultivation base faster. For those who became the holy successor, they would only have a single chance to receive the inheritance from the ancestral lands. With the inheritance of the Phoenix, their strength would naturally increase tremendously. Other than this, for such powerful clans, as long as one became a core character, they would have access to many secret arts and cultivation resources. It would be much faster to raise their cultivation base compared to trying to figure things out by themselves. Hence, being born into such a clan was undoubtedly akin to being born with a golden spoon in your mouth. Namhuang Yunshi and the others returned the greeting. After that, her gaze landed on Qin Wendian as she smiled. In front of Qin Wendian, she no longer had the cold arrogance she had back then in the city of ancient emperors. Her smiling eyes were filled with gentleness, exuding a different kind of beauty. Namhuang Yunshi walked to Qin Wendian and smiled. "This time around, it's all thanks to you. You and I are people who fought side by side in the city of ancient emperors. Is there still a need to thank me?" Qin Wendian laughed. "Qin Wendian, this might not mean much to you, but for Namhuang Yunshi, becoming the saintess of inheritance is a very important experience in her life. We want to thank you as well." Namhuang Yunshi's father said to Qin Wendian with a hearty smile. "He's right. Qin Wendian, if you encounter any difficulties in the future, you can come to us." Namhuang Yunshi's mother also said with a smile. Qin Wendian nodded and said, "Okay, I will accept your gratitude. Just call us uncle and auntie. There's no need to call us seniors." "It's too distant," said Namhuang Yunshi's father. "Uncle, auntie." Qin Wendian was a straightforward person and wouldn't be bothered by the small details. He and Namhuang Yunshi were friends, and it wasn't too much for him to refer to Namhuang Yunshi's parents as uncle and auntie. "Yunshi, we are preparing to hold a celebration for you. What do you think?" At this moment, an elder from the Namhuang clan spoke. However, Namhuang Yunshi smiled and shook her head. Yunshi has just become the holy successor, her cultivation base is still low. Her future path is still very long. Elders, please don't place Yunshi on a pedestal too high. If not, things would be bad if Yunshi becomes arrogant and complacent in the future. Yunshi is right. Elders, please don't spoil her too much. She still has a long way to go if she wants to ascend to the throne of the Empress. She still has a long way to go. She still needs to follow her heart step by step. Namhuang Yunshi's father nodded and said bluntly about ascending to the throne of the Empress. This wasn't a taboo in the Namhuang clan. As long as one was the holy successor, they would be qualified to inherit the throne of the Empress. They could say it openly, and it was also a form of encouragement for the holy successor. "You guys are exaggerating. You're exaggerating. But since it's Yunshi's idea, we won't force her. Yunshi's new residence has been prepared. We will officially rename the former Jiue Palace to Yunshi Palace. This palace will be your palace from now on. In addition, the other saintesses of this generation will be your protectors and accompany you as you grow. They will be your helpers in the future. You must treat them well. You can go now. The old man spoke. Nam Huang Yunshi's expression also turned solemn. At the instant she became the holy successor, she knew that many things had changed. For the past 100 years, the 30-plus holy successors were all competitors, vying for the position of the holy successor. But once the holy successor appeared, the other holy successors would become her protectors, accompanying her as she grew up, becoming an important pillar of support for her in the future. The current Southern Phoenix matriarch, the holy successors who were her protectors back then, were now all extremely powerful and could be considered the vanguard troops of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Qin Wendian felt extremely shocked in his heart when he heard this. The holy successors would act as protectors for Nam Huang Yunshi. Was this the status of the holy successor? Jiyue Palace. Nam Huang Yunshi mumbled in a low voice, her gaze was somewhat misty. Nanfeng Jiyue is a legendary character of our Nam Huang clan. Yunshi, this is the hope we have for you. Don't disappoint the clan. The old man solemnly spoke. Nam Huang Yunshi nodded solemnly. Nanfeng Jiyue, this name was once incomparably glorious in the Nam Huang clan. Even in the immortal realms, she was extremely famous. Let's go. The old man spoke. After that, everyone moved out. Nam Huang Yunshi smiled at Qin Wendian, come with me. Sure, I also want to see the glory of the holy successor. Qin Wendian joked. Nam Huang Yunshi rolled her eyes. Who is Nanfeng Jiyue? Qin Wendian transmitted his voice to Nam Huang Yunshi, feeling somewhat curious. Nanfeng Jiyue is a legendary character of our Nam Huang clan. She is also the holy successor and rose up in the immortal realms in a dazzling manner. When she was at her peak, there weren't many in the vast immortal realms who could match up to her. This lasted until one time when our Nam Huang clan faced a calamity. A devil lord from the myriad devil islands coveted us and said that he wanted to abduct the Southern Phoenix matriarch as well as the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan. This devil lord's infamy towered up into the heavens and his power was immense. He gathered all the devil sects and started a war against the Nam Huang clan, abducting many holy maidens. Nanfeng Jiyue took the initiative to fight and killed her way into the myriad devil islands, using a heaven-defying method to send the holy maidens out. At the same time, she used her own strength to fight against many supreme experts from the myriad devil islands. The myriad devil islands are a place where immortal emperors are forbidden to enter. Let alone the fact that Nanfeng Jiyue went there to fight. She was surrounded by many devils but she relied on her overwhelming strength to kill the devil lord who abducted the holy maidens, killing several devil emperors before she died on the myriad devil islands. Qin Wendian's expression turned solemn. When he heard Nam Huang Yunshi's voice transmission, a scene of a peerlessly beautiful maiden slaughtering her way into the myriad devil islands appeared in his mind. Slaughtering her way into the myriad devil islands, was it worth it? Nanfeng Jiyue was a little too impulsive. Qin Wendian sighed. Sometimes, for such supreme characters, they simply depend on their aura. At that time, my Nam Huang clan was being watched by the entire immortal realms. The holy maidens were abducted, it was a great humiliation and there had to be someone who stood out. Even if Nanfeng Jiyue didn't step out, the Nam Huang clan would still act. How arrogant was Nanfeng Jiyue? In a fit of rage, she killed her way into the myriad devil islands. Although Nanfeng Jiyue died in that battle, her actions shocked the entire immortal realms. From then on, the devil lords of the myriad devil islands no longer dared to provoke my Nam Huang clan. Nam Huang Yunshi's heart was filled with longing. Qin Wendian also felt respect for the Nanfeng Jiyue that Nam Huang Yunshi spoke of. Just like what Nam Huang Yunshi said, there were some things that you had to do even if you knew it was impossible. Qin Wendian had also done similar things before. This was the strength of a supreme genius. Sadly, I can't personally witness her glory. Qin Wendian sighed. He faintly understood the words of the ancient phoenix back then. In the immortal realms, even the strongest ancient clan would feel a sense of danger. It's truly a pity. Back then, everyone in the Nam Huang clan felt that if Nanfeng Jiyue didn't die, there was a very high possibility that she would be the next matriarch of our Nam Huang clan. Nam Huang Yunshi also sighed. As they spoke, they already arrived at a majestic ancient palace. Outside this ancient palace, there was a statue of a female that exuded boundless magnificence. This was none other than Nanfeng Jiyue, a heaven's chosen of a generation. The Nam Huang clan built a statue of her and erected a monument for her. Everyone landed on the ground and bowed to Nanfeng Jiyue's statue. Even those experts of the older generation of the Nam Huang clan did the same. Qin Wendian could sense the respect these people of the Nam Huang clan had for this deceased person. Qin Wendian also stood before the statue and bowed deeply, reminiscing about the past. I have a request. Don't change the name of the Jiyue Palace to Yunshi Palace. Everything must remain the same. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke. Usually, when a new holy successor moved in, the name of the ancient palace would be changed to the name of the new holy successor. Sure. The elder of the Nam Huang clan decisively agreed without any hesitation. He felt gratified that Nam Huang Yunshi could take the initiative to make this request. Let's enter. Nam Huang Yunshi walked towards the ancient palace, her heart filled with boundless yearning. She hoped that one day, she would be able to have Nanfeng Jiyue's magnificence and become the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan. The Jiyue Palace was extremely vast, exuding an air of elegance. Everyone moved forward step by step. Nam Huang Yunshi walked up to a tall platform while the other members of the Nam Huang clan stood in front of it, silently observing. Although the Nam Huang clan refused to celebrate, some basic rituals still had to be carried out. Sir Qin, I will have to trouble you to take care of me in the future. Nanfeng Shinga laughed in a low voice beside Qin Wendian. After that, she stepped out. Not only her, Qin Wendian also saw many other holy maidens appearing on the platform, surrounding Nam Huang Yunshi. Nam Huang Yunshi was the leader, including the arrogant Nanfeng Aoshue. From now onwards, they would stay together with Nam Huang Yunshi in the Jiyue Palace. No matter if they were convinced or not, they had to obey. This was the rule of the Nam Huang clan. If they weren't convinced, they could work harder to cultivate faster, forever being ahead of Nam Huang Yunshi. At the same time, their existence would spur Nam Huang Yunshi to never fall behind. She was the holy successor. Other than the holy maidens, numerous experts appeared below the platform, including some extremely powerful immortal kings. They were all chosen by the Nam Huang clan to guard the Jiyue Palace, to protect Nam Huang Yunshi. From now onwards, Nam Huang Yunshi would be the new master of the Jiyue Palace. The holy maidens would act as her protectors, as well as the immortal kings. She was the holy successor, the successor of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Qin Wendian stared at the platform, at the incomparably majestic Nam Huang Yunshi at this moment. A radiant smile appeared in his eyes, he was happy for Nam Huang Yunshi. No wonder all the holy maidens would do their best to fight for the position of holy successor. This was glory, status, authority, and also the future. Chapter 1058. After the ceremony, the people of the Nam Huang clan departed, leaving behind only the holy maidens and the guards the Nam Huang clan had assigned to Nam Huang Yunshi. Naturally, there were also Qin Wendian, Jun Mengchen, and Purgatory. Nam Huang Yunshi's parents also departed after leaving some instructions. After Nam Huang Yunshi became the holy successor, she was no longer just the pearl in their palms. She would carve out her own future in the Nam Huang clan and become the mistress of the Jiyue ancient palace. Nam Huang Yunshi stared at the holy maidens beside her and smiled. In the future, Yunshi will have to depend on all of you sisters. Yunshi, I will continue to work hard in my cultivation. I won't fall behind you. Nanfeng Aoshue was still brooding over her failure to become the holy successor. She was the strongest among the holy maidens of this generation, but in the end, the one with the lowest cultivation base, Nam Huang Yunshi, became the holy successor. In that case, Sister Aoshue has to work hard. Nanfeng Yunshi didn't mind it as she laughed. Qin Wendian was truly unhappy with Nanfeng Aoshue. She had already been defeated, yet her tone was still so arrogant. If Nanfeng Yunxi had the same bearing as her, she would have countless methods to make it so that Nanfeng Aoshue would never be able to lift her head again. Yunxi, there's no need to be so polite. In the future, all of us sisters will listen to your commands. We still need you to take good care of us. Nanfeng Xinge gently smiled. Nam Huang Yunxi smiled. After that, she spoke, I'm going out for a while. Xinge, come with me. Okay. Nanfeng Xinge smiled and nodded. Nam Huang Yunxi then walked towards her guards and spoke to them. A moment later, 3 of them obeyed. After doing this, Nam Huang Yunxi walked to the side of Qin Wentian and asked, shall we move out? You just joined the Jiyue ancient palace? Qin Wentian asked. Now that I'm done with my business, it's time to start working on yours. Nam Huang Yunxi smiled and stepped out first. Nanfeng Xinge walked to the side of Qin Wentian and winked at him before following behind Nam Huang Yunxi. Qin Wentian shrugged and said, let's go. Then he, Jun Mengchen and the other 2 followed them, leaving all the saintesses confused. Nam Huang Yunxi wanted to help Qin Wentian with what? Could it be that when Qin Wentian helped Nam Huang Yunxi to seize the position of the saintess of inheritance, they had reached some kind of agreement? They were all very curious in their hearts, but they had no way to find out. Nam Huang Yunxi only chose to bring Nanfeng Xinge along. Sister Aoshue, don't speak to Yunxi like this in the future. After all, we are now Yunxi's Dao protectors. If Yunxi intentionally targets you, I'm afraid the cultivation resources of the Nam Huang clan would have nothing to do with you. If you truly have the heart, just work hard in your cultivation. Nanfeng Qingrua smiled at Nanfeng Aoshue. After that, she didn't wait for Nanfeng Aoshue's reply and turned to leave. It's naturally not so easy to change one's identity. However, the winner is the king and the loser is the villain. The Nam Huang clan has been selecting the elites for countless years. Since you lost, you have to accept the truth. Don't forget the mistakes of your predecessors. Nanfeng Qingrua's voice drifted over, causing Nanfeng Aoshue to frown. The other holy maidens also sighed in their hearts. What Nanfeng Qingrua said was right, it was naturally not easy to change one's identity. But who asked them to be the losers? The identity of a holy protector was also a test for those who failed. On the streets of the southern Phoenix Immortal City, a group of extraordinary silhouettes were strolling about, attracting the attention of many. This group of men and women was extraordinary with just a single glance. The men were handsome while the women were extremely beautiful. It was a sight to behold. Where are we going? Qin Wentian asked. There's a place in the southern regions named the God Hand Mountain Manor. The master of the mountain manor is an immortal emperor with supreme archery skills. His title is Emperor Yu and he rarely interferes with the affairs of the immortal realms. He is a solitary cultivator and would often roam around the immortal realms, exuding a mysterious aura as though he stands aloof from worldly affairs. The mountain manor has also accepted many disciples and Emperor Yu has guided many outstanding geniuses in archery, but he doesn't accept any disciples. Many people in the southern regions feel that Emperor Yu is a good person, and because of his high cultivation base, very few people would dare to disturb his peaceful cultivation. Nam Huang Yunxi slowly spoke, this time around, we are heading to the God Hand Mountain Manor. God Hand Mountain Manor. Qin Wentian mumbled. God's Hand, God Hand Mountain Manor. Was this really a coincidence? Seems like this wasn't the case. Emperor Yu of the God Hand Mountain Manor most probably had a deep relationship with ancient Emperor Yi. Nanfeng Xinge felt somewhat bewildered when she heard this. Her beautiful eyes roamed over to Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi. Why did they want to go to the God Hand Mountain Manor? However, Qin Wentian naturally understood. Most probably, the complete version of God's Hand was in the God Hand Mountain Manor. The Phoenix ancestor told me that everyone thought that ancient Emperor Yi was only proficient in God's Hand because God's Hand could transform into a myriad of abilities, concealing ancient Emperor Yi's other abilities. But in truth, when ancient Emperor Yi was young, his archery skills were extremely powerful. Nam Huang Yunxi transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian, her words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash. The phoenix ancestor was as expected of an old monster that had lived for countless years. She even knew about this. Most probably, this had something to do with the fact that ancient Emperor Yi lived in the southern regions of the immortal realms. At this moment, a few hundred miles away from Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi, in an inn in the southern Phoenix Immortal City, an extraordinarily handsome figure was sitting cross-legged. His eyes were closed and his ears were perked up. There seemed to be a formless energy gushing forth from his ears, transforming into sound waves that allowed him to hear everything in the surroundings. In fact, there were even faint golden Buddhic runes flashing by his ears. The eyes of this figure opened, gleaming with a bright light as a hint of a smile could be seen in his deep and mysterious eyes. God's hand, God Hand Mountain Manor, Emperor Yi, Emperor Yu. I truly didn't expect this. The young man mumbled in a low voice. After which, he spoke, come in. As the sound of his voice faded, a figure appeared in the courtyard. The figure stared at the young man and greeted, young Master Yu. So it turned out that this young man was none other than Jiang Ziyu, a heaven chosen from one of the three ancient clans of the Namhuang clan. He had once fought against Qin Wentian and wasn't at a disadvantage. His combat prowess was extremely powerful and mysterious. Inform the clan that Emperor Yu has a connection with Emperor Yi. There's a high possibility that the God Hand Mountain Manor has the secret art of Emperor Yi. A faint smile appeared on Jiang Ziyu's face as he commanded. Yes. The eyes of that expert flashed with surprise. Young Master Yu was actually able to obtain such news? When he thought of how powerful Jiang Ziyu was, his heart trembled. Right now in the entire Jiang clan, there were only a handful of Immortal Foundation geniuses that could be mentioned in the same breath as young Master Yu. Jiang Ziyu was the most outstanding heavens chosen of the Jiang clan in the past few hundred years. In the future, he would definitely have great accomplishments. Many people only knew that his eyes were powerful, but they didn't know that his ears were as well. Only the members of the Jiang clan knew how powerful the ultimate arts of the Jiang clan were. That expert prepared to leave only to hear Jiang Ziyu interjected, hold on. Does young Master Yu have any other instructions? That person asked. Only to see a mysterious smile on Jiang Ziyu's face as he continued, help me inform the people from the four great powers. Tell them to pay a price in exchange for this information. Remember, the price must be high. After you obtain it, spread the news to all the major powers. The eyes of that expert flashed, he didn't understand why Jiang Ziyu would do this. Just do as I say. Jiang Ziyu waved his hands, not going back on his words. Since he has decided on something, he only needed to execute it. Yes. That person retreated, he understood what he had to do. Jiang Ziyu was truly ruthless. In this case, the major powers of the southern regions would definitely be shaken. In fact, even major powers outside the southern regions would be implicated. For example, Zidi's power and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's power. The southern regions of the immortal realms were boundlessly vast. The major powers could be divided according to the three ancient clans. The Namhuang clan, the Jiang clan and the Ying clan each had their own territories. Although the Namhuang clan and the Jiang clan didn't have direct control, with them as the center, the surrounding areas were all under their influence. In truth, they had great control over these areas. Among these three powers, the Ying clan's territory was the most vast. Naturally, other than these three major powers, there were also many immortal emperors who had a strong influence on the surrounding powers. And below them, there were many sects established by immortal kings. They were also competing against each other unceasingly. The God Hand Mountain Manor was very close to the Namhuang clan's territory. However, the three ancient clans' control over this area wasn't that strong. In addition to the fact that there was an immortal emperor, Emperor Yu, the Namhuang clan didn't truly extend their influence over here. In this place, other than the God Hand Mountain Manor, there were also many other immortal king-ranked powers. Qin Wentian and his group borrowed the power of an immortal weapon to soar through the air. The speed of the immortal weapon was extremely fast. It was a puppet phoenix that was extremely vivid and lifelike. This puppet phoenix was extremely valuable and was an immortal king-ranked divine weapon. Not only could it soar through the air, it could also attack and defend. It was only bestowed to Nam Huang Yunshi after she became the holy successor. The immortal realms are truly vast. How long more do we need to reach there? Jun Mengchen asked. This was still the territory controlled by the Nam Huang clan. They had to borrow the power of an immortal weapon to travel for such a long time. Looking at the map, we should be able to reach there within a day. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke. She turned her head and glanced at Qin Wentian, who was currently cultivating with his eyes closed. She silently mused that this fellow was truly a cultivation maniac. Geniuses also needed to work hard. If not, no matter how high one's talent was, their accomplishments would still be limited. Because they had been rushing, Nam Huang Yunshi and the others didn't know that right now, there were already many major powers that were heading in the same direction as them, towards the direction of the God Hand Mountain Manor. This was something completely unexpected. Regardless of Nam Huang Yunshi or Qin Wentian, none of them would have expected Jiang Ziyu to have the divine ears of the Buddhist sect, able to hear sounds from 1,000 miles away. Also, Jiang Ziyu had clearly been watching them for a very long time before he left the Nam Huang clan. Chapter 1059. The God Hand Mountain Manor was located in a mountain forest with beautiful scenery. Throughout the year, the air here was cool and refreshing, akin to an immortal realm. Qin Wentian and the others finally arrived outside the mountain manor. This immortal emperor manor was very quiet and there were servants guarding the entrance. In order to show his respect to the owner of the manor, Qin Wentian naturally got off the phoenix boat. He then spoke, "The holy successor of the Nam Huang clan, Nam Huang Yunshi, is here to pay a visit to Senior Emperor Yu. I hope that you can inform him of my arrival." Nam Huang Yunshi revealed her identity the moment she arrived. She naturally wanted to gain the respect of immortal emperors. Not everyone had the qualifications to meet with immortal emperors. If she wanted to pay a visit just like that, wouldn't the immortal emperor be extremely busy? That servant glanced at Nam Huang Yunshi before smiling. "Everyone, please follow me into the manor first. There will be housekeeper Lu to receive you all." "Right." Nam Huang Yunshi nodded her head lightly. After that, she followed the servant and entered the manor. There were pavilions and pavilions within the manor, as well as artificial mountains and lakes. The environment was quiet and tranquil, truly a rare place for cultivation. A white-robed middle-aged man walked over. He was slightly plump and had a smile on his face, exuding a sense of joy. "Since the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan is able to come all the way here, Lu, apologize for not going out to welcome you." This white-robed man was none other than housekeeper Lu of the manor. His smiling eyes were immeasurably deep, and although he didn't exude any aura, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. Being able to work as a housekeeper in the manor of an immortal emperor, his cultivation base was definitely extraordinary. He should be an immortal king expert. "Housekeeper Lu is too polite. Juniors took the liberty to disturb you. I hope that housekeeper Lu won't take offense." Nam Huang Yunshi smiled. "I, Nam Huang Yunshi of the Nam Huang clan, have some matters that I wish to meet with Senior Emperor Yu. I wonder if Senior Emperor Yu is willing to meet with Junior? Are you here for the God's Hand?" Housekeeper Lu smiled as he stared at Nam Huang Yunshi. His eyes were narrowed, and no one could tell what he was thinking. However, this caused the expressions of Nam Huang Yunshi and the others to freeze. Indeed. Nam Huang Yunshi felt bewildered in her heart. "Senior, how did you know?" "Holy maiden, please follow me." Butler Lu spoke. After that, he brought everyone into the mountain manor. The God Hand Mountain Manor occupied a vast area and was extremely spacious. An instant later, Butler Lu brought everyone to an empty plot of land and pointed to a pavilion ahead. There were several silhouettes there as Butler Lu spoke. "They are here for this as well." Before Steward Lu opened his mouth, Nam Huang Yunshi, Qin Wentian, and the others fixed their eyes there, staring at those figures with slightly unpleasant expressions. Why was he here? How have you been, Saintess Yunxi? At this moment, a young man from the other side of the pavilion walked over. This young man was none other than Jiang Ziyu from the Jiang clan. He actually rushed ahead of Nam Huang Yunxi and entered the God Hand Mountain Manor. Jiang Ziyu. Nam Huang Yunxi furrowed her brows, as though she was contemplating why Jiang Ziyu would appear here. Brother Qin, my invitation is still valid. Brother Qin, are you willing to follow me to the Jiang clan as a guest? The Jiang clan will definitely treat you as an honored guest. Jiang Ziyu smiled at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stared at him. Butler Lu said that Jiang Ziyu also came here for the God Hand Mountain Manor. How could there be such a coincidence in this world? Jiang Ziyu received the news at the same time as them and came to the God Hand Mountain Manor. Evidently, Jiang Ziyu wasn't surprised at all when he saw them. In fact, it was as though he was waiting for them here. Evidently, he already knew that they would come. You are staring at us. Qin Wentian didn't reply but coldly asked. Jiang Ziyu had a mysterious smile on his face and didn't reply. He then spoke, why? Are all of you here for the God Hand as well? What a coincidence. I've seen it before in the ancient records of the Nam Huang clan. There are some extremely mysterious innate techniques in the Buddhist path, such as the Heavenly Eye innate technique and the Divine Ear innate technique, allowing one to see things from 1,000 miles away and listen to the wind from 1,000 miles away. I've always heard that the descendants of the Jiang clan are proficient in the Buddhist path. Young Master Jiang, as an outstanding heavens chosen of the Jiang clan, I'm sure you must have extraordinary attainments in the Buddhist path. Since you can see through the leaves of the parasol tree in our Nam Huang clan, it seems like you might be able to listen to the wind from 1,000 miles away. Nan Fengshinga smiled at the side. Momentarily, Nam Huang Yunxi and Qin Wentian were all enlightened. Jiang Ziyu had exchanged blows with Qin Wentian before and he knew that Qin Wentian cultivated an incomplete God's hand. If he really kept staring at him, when he exited the Nam Huang clan, he would be able to listen to the wind from 1,000 miles away and hear the conversation between him and Nam Huang Yunxi. Given Jiang Ziyu's intelligence, he would be able to easily deduce many things. There was no doubt that they were targeted by Jiang Ziyu. Miss Shinga's knowledge is truly extraordinary. Jiang Ziyu smiled at Nan Fengshinga. He was very calm, he didn't mind at all that Nam Huang Yunxi and the others knew about this. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness. Initially, if they were the only ones here, given the status of the Nam Huang clan, in addition to the fact that he had cultivated God's hand and could be considered half a successor of ancient Emperor Yi, Emperor Yu would definitely allow him to cultivate the complete version of God's hand. But now that Jiang Ziyu interfered, it was very hard for Emperor Yu to be biased towards them. The Nam Huang clan and the Jiang clan were both powerful clans in the southern regions and Emperor Yu was someone who cultivated in peace. The best solution was to let them compete among themselves. Butler Lu, is Emperor Yu in the manor? Nam Huang Yunxi no longer glanced at Jiang Ziyu. She turned to the white-robed butler and asked. Emperor Yu has gone out to roam the world. However, I have already informed him. As for when he would return, I have no idea. I have no right to ask about Emperor Yu's matters. Butler Lu spoke apologetically. Holy Maiden of Southern Huang came from afar, why don't you temporarily stay in the manor? I will arrange accommodations for all of you. Right, Junior will have to trouble the manor for a period of time. Nam Huang Yunxi nodded. Clearly, she wouldn't come here for nothing. The secret art of ancient Emperor Yi, God's hand, was a major matter. She had to do her best to help Qin Wentian obtain the complete version. Everyone, please follow me. Butler Lu spoke. Nam Huang Yunxi and the others followed him. Not long later, Butler Lu arranged their accommodations. The environment was exquisite, with a small bridge and flowing water. However, Qin Wentian and the others weren't in a good mood. This Jiang Ziyu is truly sinister. Look at him, he's asking for a beating. Jun Mengchen unhappily spoke. Although I'm unhappy with him, Jiang Ziyu is truly a tough character to deal with. He's extremely powerful. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. Nan Fengshenga also nodded in agreement. Back then, I personally witnessed the battle in the ancestral lands. Jiang Ziyu is truly extraordinary. He came out to temper himself, and the Jiang clan would definitely regard him highly. His status should be equal to the holy successor. We have to be careful of him. Now, we can only wait. Nam Huang Yunshi faintly spoke. Emperor Yu wasn't here. Now, they could only wait for him to return. Qin Wendian and Nam Huang Yunshi stayed in the God Hand Manor. It was just that they didn't expect that before Emperor Yu returned, there would already be experts arriving at the manor. Among them, Zidi and the disciples of Dongxing Heaven Emperor were included. Within the God Hand Manor, Qin Wendian and Nam Huang Yunshi stared at Dongxing Ting and the others. Their eyes flickered with coldness, as though there was a faint killing intent within. Other than Dongxing Ting and his group, there were also experts from other powers arriving. Among them was Kang Yi, whom Qin Wendian met in the ancestral lands of the Nam Huang clan. Kang Yi brought his subordinates here, and according to Nan Fengshenga, several major powers from the southern regions have also arrived. It seems like the news has already been circulated. Evidently, this was done by Jiang Ziyu and his group. You guys are truly like ghosts that won't leave us alone. Qin Wendian coldly spoke as he stared at Dongxing Ting and the others. Nam Huang Yunshi, since we are already out of the southern Phoenix Immortal City, the Holy Maiden wouldn't interfere in the grudge between us and Qin Wendian, right? Dongxing Ting stared at Nam Huang Yunshi as he spoke. Qin Wendian is a good friend of mine. Nam Huang Yunshi calmly spoke, her words causing Dongxing Ting's expression to turn heavy. The Nam Huang clan was determined to interfere in this matter. I'm afraid the Holy Maiden won't be able to stop us. Dongxing Ting threatened. You guys might have many experts, but do you really think the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan would come out alone? Nan Fengshenga smiled. If there's anyone who dares to offend the Holy Maiden, I'm afraid none of you will be able to walk out of here alive. Both sides fell into silence as a faint pressure permeated the atmosphere. Do you only know how to hide behind women? Dongxing Ting stared at Qin Wendian. In the past, it was Qing'er, and now, it was Nam Huang Yunshi. What was even more hateful was that both of them were extremely outstanding women regardless of talent or background. Michem. Qin Wendian frowned. He stared at Dongxing Ting and smiled. From your words, you don't want to rely on others to fight alone? Sure, bring it on. Qin Wendian spoke as he walked to the empty space. He had a smile on his face as he stared at Dongxing Ting in a provocative manner. Dongxing Ting's countenance was ice cold, yet he didn't move. Dongxing Ting, I truly feel ashamed for you. The son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor has thrown his face all the way here. To think that you want my senior brother to not rely on others. Are you prepared to fight together with others? Do you have any shame? Jun Mengchen mocked as he stared at Dongxing Ting. Many people turned their gazes over, causing Dongxing Ting to feel a burning sensation on his face. Dongxing Ting, no matter what, you are the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor and your cultivation base is extremely high. Why don't you have the courage to fight? Jiang Ziyu, who was standing far away, laughed. This place seems to be very lively. At this moment, a voice rang out. After which, everyone only saw a golden bolt of lightning breaking through the air as a figure stood proudly in the air. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as he smiled at everyone, exuding an extraordinary aura. The gazes of everyone turned to him. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flickered as he smiled. Who from the Ying clan are you? The Ying clan. The hearts of everyone trembled. Have all the experts from the three great clans of the southern regions arrived? The strength of the Ying clan was extremely terrifying. The Ying clan of the royal emperor city established the Ying Immortal Empire and was an immortal empire with terrifying influence. The members of this clan were the most tyrannical among the three great clans of the southern regions. Yingteng. The young man spoke. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flashed, he had heard of Yingteng's name before. Who are you? Yingteng counter-asked. Jiang Ziyu. Ha, a genius of the Jiang clan. Very good. These ladies over here should be the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan, right? It's rumored that the holy successor of the Namhuang clan is Namhuang Yunshi. Is she here? Yingting's gaze roamed around Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Shinga before finally landing on Namhuang Yunshi. This is none other than the holy successor of my Namhuang clan, Namhuang Yunshi. Nanfeng Shinga smiled as she introduced. After that, Yingting's gaze sharpened. He then turned to the others. Seems like many major powers of the southern regions have arrived. How unexpected! The secret art of the ancient emperor, God's hand, has always been hidden in the southern regions. Chapter 1060. The arrival of the Ying clan caused the God Hand Mountain Manor to become the center of the storm in the southern regions. The three major clans of the southern regions gathered here. This was an extremely rare scene. Only the ultimate arts of ancient emperors would have such rallying power. Not only so, in the following days, the God Hand Mountain Manor truly became the center of attention of the entire southern regions. Other than the three strongest ancient clans, the other emperor-ranked powers also sent their experts over, entering the God Hand Mountain Manor. Zidi and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor also came as reinforcements. The experts from the Namhuang clan no longer hid in the shadows and directly showed themselves to protect Namhuang Yunshi and the others. Right now, the situation at the God Hand Mountain Manor was simply too chaotic. Not only did the juniors arrive, many immortal kings also arrived as well as many experts in the shadows, eyeing the God Hand Mountain Manor like tigers watching their prey. Such a situation caused Qin Wentian to be extremely unhappy. Jiang Ziyu leaked the news, causing the difficulty of obtaining God's hand to increase by many times. Qin Wentian knew that Emperor Yu should already be clear of the situation at the God Hand Mountain Manor, but he still didn't show himself. Because, this matter implicated the major powers of the southern regions. Even as an immortal emperor, he had no choice but to be cautious. Today, Butler Lu finally informed everyone that Emperor Yu has returned and would be meeting with them soon. The God Hand Mountain Manor was extremely vast and there were several hundred people here. These people were all from the major powers of the immortal realms, and below the mountain manor, there were even more people who didn't even have the qualifications to step foot into the mountain manor. The people in the mountain manor were all from the major powers of the southern regions. What qualifications did ordinary characters have to compete against them? Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunshi sat in a pavilion. Behind them, there were experts from the Namhuang clan guarding them. There are so many people here, things are going to be troublesome. Jun Mengchen glanced at the experts in the surroundings. Even if Emperor Yu really had God's hand, it was basically impossible for him to hand it over to them alone. This would undoubtedly offend the other major powers. Qin Wentian sat there, feeling a cold aura boring down on him. Turning his gaze over, he saw Zi Daolong. Before this, they had already met before. Zi Daolong was none other than Zi Daoyang's elder brother, the son of Zidi, an immortal king. How long do you think the Namhuang clan can protect you? Zi Daolong asked indifferently. Zidi? A mocking smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. He didn't reply. This caused Zi Daolong's expression to stiffen. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing at Zidi for not living up to his name. Qin Wentian spoke. Everyone knows who the culprit behind Zi Daoyang's death is. Mo Xia of the Myriad Devil Islands, you guys don't have the guts to kill your way to the Myriad Devil Islands to seek revenge, yet you guys want to use me as a scapegoat? Even if you guys really killed me, it would only be a joke. Don't try to provoke me. I will naturally kill Mo Xia. As for you, I will also not spare you. Zi Daolong coldly threatened. Zi Daolong, in the future, it's best that you don't challenge others. Qin Wentian didn't mind it. He then continued, if you challenge others, most probably others would give in to you. What if they accidentally defeat you and you die mysteriously? If that happens, Zidi would go and seek revenge from the person who defeated you? That would truly be unlucky. Pft, Jun Mengchen laughed. Nanfeng Shinga also had a smile on her face. Many people were staring at Zi Daolong. Although Zidi's actions weren't very glorious, they could still understand. That was the lofty Zidi. His son was killed, how could the arrogant him not find those who implicated him in the death of his son? This was the tyranny of those with authority. Even if he was unreasonable, he would still be in the right. You seem to have offended quite a lot of people. I heard from them that you have even cultivated God's hand. A voice drifted over. It was none other than Yingteng, a member of the Ying clan. He discovered that Qin Wentian was very interesting. Jiang Ziyu, Dong Xingting, and Zidi's subordinates all had grudges with him. Sir, I'm afraid you've offended quite a lot of people as well. It's just that many people don't dare to look for you. Qin Wentian casually smiled. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong was the nature of humans. If he was a direct descendant of the Namhuang clan, as for immortal emperors like the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor, would their disciples dare to look for trouble with him? Most probably, even Zidi would give him some face. After all, he wasn't the one who killed Zi Daoyang. Brother Qin's words are logical. Why don't you join my Jiang clan? I can guarantee that my Jiang clan will help Brother Qin to resolve all these troubles. How about it? Jiang Ziyu spoke again. This Jiang Ziyu was mysterious and unfathomable, half human and half ghost. He didn't seem like an enemy, nor did he seem like a friend. His actions were very puzzling, but there was no doubt that he was an extremely powerful character. It was also impossible for Qin Wentian to join the Jiang clan. I, Qin, appreciate Brother Jiang's kind intentions. It's just that I don't have the fortune to enjoy it. Qin Wentian smiled as he rejected. The two of them spoke without any anger. Jiang Ziyu already knew the answer. He smiled faintly. At this moment, a mysterious aura descended. Following which, an ethereal voice echoed throughout this space. Guests from afar, since all of you have arrived, no matter who you are, please come up to the mountain manor for a chat. There's no need to stand on ceremony. This voice enveloped a vast area. Even people several hundred miles away could hear it clearly. At this moment, more and more experts arrived, all of them exuding extraordinary auras. All of them were immortal kings. At the same time, many people from the southern regions of the immortal realms headed towards the mountain manor. In just a short period of time, the God Hand Mountain Manor was already filled with people. Luckily, the mountain manor was extremely vast and this empty space extended all the way to the mountain range in the distance. Let alone these people, even an army of 100,000 could be easily accommodated. At this moment, in the direction of the Jiang clan, a figure appeared. After that, the experts of the Jiang clan all stood up and bowed respectfully. That expert turned his gaze over and landed on Jiang Ziyu. Granduncle. Jiang Ziyu smiled. Ziyu. The expert from the Jiang clan nodded to Jiang Ziyu as he transmitted his voice. I heard that you obtained the news from the Namhuang clan and spread it out. Why did you intentionally spread the news? Granduncle, I don't believe that the Namhuang clan didn't covet the secret art of an ancient emperor. Since they knew that the secret art is here, why didn't they come here before? Granduncle, do you believe me? Jiang Ziyu smiled as he replied. His granduncle nodded. There was only one possibility. The Namhuang clan negotiated with Emperor Yu but there was no result. I think it should be because of the appearance of Qin Wentian. That's why the Namhuang clan told him about the location of the secret art. Qin Wentian has cultivated a portion of God's hand. Jiang Ziyu continued to transmit his voice. His granduncle didn't say anything more. This God Hand Mountain Manor was closer to the Namhuang clan. If their Jiang clan and the Namhuang clan fought for it, the probability of the Namhuang clan obtaining God's hand would be higher. Regardless of whether it was in terms of location or Qin Wentian having cultivated a portion of God's hand, Jiang Ziyu intentionally blew this matter up. In that case, it wouldn't just be a conflict between the Jiang clan and the Namhuang clan. Friends, do you really want me to invite all of you before you are willing to come out? That ethereal voice rang out once more. After that, many people laughed heartily as several figures appeared. In fact, it was impossible to see their movement techniques or where they came from. The experts of the Nam Huang clan, including Nam Huang Yunshi, all stood up, staring at the figure of the maiden who just appeared. This maiden was clad in a luxurious phoenix robe and exuded an extraordinary aura. "We pay our respects to Holy Maiden Guhong." Everyone bowed. Nanfeng Guhong was one of the holy maidens of the Southern Phoenix matriarch and has already broken through to the Immortal Emperor realm. She was extremely powerful and was a trusted aide of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. There were many things that the Southern Phoenix matriarch would pass to her to handle. Most probably, the Southern Phoenix matriarch's arrival was the will of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Yunshi. Nanfeng Guhong turned her gaze to Nam Huang Yunshi. Her expression was calm as she spoke. "The clan bestowed upon you the Jiyue Palace. You have to work hard. Yunshi understands." Nam Huang Yunshi nodded lightly. "Shinga, it's the same for all the other holy maidens. Do your best and don't forget to cultivate." Nanfeng Guhong glanced at Nanfeng Shinga as she instructed. Nanfeng Shinga nodded. This immortal Emperor Guhong before her was none other than her role model. Even as a holy maiden, she could also break through to the Immortal Emperor realm and accompany the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Qin Wentian had a look of contemplation in his eyes. The Nam Huang clan told him the location of the secret art. Other than repaying him, they clearly had other intentions. However, this was also normal. Back then, ancient Emperor Yi used this secret art to sweep through the immortal realms. Which major power would be willing to let it go? The Nam Huang clan was no exception. Not only for the Jiang clan and Nam Huang clan, the Ying clan also had an immortal emperor in the future. Other than this, Qin Wentian also saw a familiar silhouette. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor had personally arrived. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor appeared before Dongxing Ting. His expression was calm, and he casually glanced at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian understood that the Dongxing Heaven Emperor most probably wanted nothing more than to kill him with a single slap. However, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor couldn't act personally. He, Qin Wentian, was someone from the immortal Qianbian Gate on the surface. Immortal emperors couldn't directly interfere in the battle between the two powers. If Dongxing Heaven Emperor dared to kill him, the Emperor of Qianbian would also dare to kill Dongxing Ting. This was the agreement between both parties. Not far away from the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, an extremely imposing immortal emperor appeared. Qin Wentian had seen this immortal emperor before in the City of Ancient Emperors, but he only saw his immortal sense. This time around, he saw the true body of this immortal emperor. Zidi was clad in violet robes and had a slender figure. His eyes gleamed with a faint violet light, exuding an imposing aura. This time around, Zidi personally came instead of sending his subordinates. Other than the Violet Emperor, there were also immortal emperors like the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor, as well as several immortal emperors from the southern regions. This caused Qin Wentian to truly feel the allure of the complete version of God's hand, attracting immortal emperors from the various regions. "Emperor Yu, aren't you putting on airs a little too much?" Zidi exuded an imposing aura as he spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, a burst of hearty laughter rang out as several figures walked over from the manor. The man in the lead exuded an ethereal aura, exuding an ethereal aura. This man was none other than Emperor Yu. This Emperor Yu was a character from the same generation as ancient Emperor Yi. It was unknown how long he had lived. Chapter 1061. Emperor Yu smiled as he walked over. There were two other people beside him, all of them exuding an unfathomable aura. This caused the eyes of the immortal emperors to flash. The cultivation bases of these two were also extremely high. "Since everyone is here to pay a visit, I'm not allowed to put on airs." "Since this is the case, why did you come here?" Emperor Yu smiled as he stared at Zidi. His tone was calm, exuding a transcendent aura, without a hint of anger in it. Zidi's eyes flashed with violet light, exuding a terrifying might. If it was an ordinary character with a lower cultivation base, they would have no choice but to submit under his gaze. "Humph," Zidi coldly snorted. "Emperor, you didn't mind it at all." He turned his gaze to the immortal emperors and spoke, "If there's anyone who doesn't like the airs of an old man like me, feel free to leave. I won't beg any of you." "Senior Emperor, you must be joking." "No matter what, when Senior Emperor you became famous, I was still very young." Nanfeng Guhong smiled, her tone extremely polite. The fairies of the Namhuang clan really know how to talk. Emperor Yu nodded lightly to Nanfeng Guhong. "I know that everyone received the news and came here for the secret art of Transcendent Emperor Yi, God's hand. Back then, Senior Emperor Yi relied on this secret art to dominate the immortal realms. After that, the secret art was lost and there was no more God's hand in the immortal realms. Since everyone is here, I believe you all won't leave until you see it. I won't hide this from everyone, the secret art of ancient Emperor Yi is with me. I, Emperor Yu, am the protector of this secret art." The eyes of everyone flashed, they didn't expect Emperor Yu to admit it so readily. However, just like what Emperor Yu has said, with so many immortal emperors here, if Emperor Yu didn't give a satisfactory answer, these immortal emperors wouldn't leave so easily. At this moment, the experts in the manor all fell silent. They stared at Emperor Yu, waiting for him to continue speaking. "There are many immortal emperors here. As immortal emperors, all of you have clearly cultivated your own secret arts and techniques for many years. You should know how difficult it is to cultivate a powerful secret art. The more you want to cultivate it to the peak, the more time you need to accumulate your foundation. Right now, even if all of you immortal emperors obtained the secret art of God's hand and changed your cultivation path, would it be able to surpass the supreme innate techniques you cultivated?" As expected, Emperor Yu continued to speak, "I'm afraid that might not be the case. In any case, let me say something unpleasant to the ears. Because your astral souls are different, all of you are proficient in different domains and have already reached a certain level in a certain domain. As for God's hand, it is a secret art that is completely different from the energy you all cultivate. Even if God's hand is placed before your eyes, I'm afraid it would be extremely difficult for you all to successfully cultivate it. There's no need for Emperor Yu to worry about this. It's fine as long as you hand God's hand to us." This person's eyes were incomparably sharp, glowing with a golden light. His entire body exuded a wild aura. Beside him was a young man Qin Wentian had met before in the Namhuang clan, Zhongzhan. Clearly, this person was a demon emperor, a golden heaven-warring condor. "Fine, I will hand God's hand over to you all. Let's see if you all can cultivate it." Emperor Yu straightforwardly nodded his head in agreement. Even that demon emperor felt somewhat bewildered. This Emperor Yu was a little too straightforward. As the protector of this secret art, would he really hand over God's hand so easily? "Everyone, please step aside. I will imprint God's hand on this piece of land." Emperor Yu calmly spoke. The eyes of everyone flashed as they retreated. "We still need to retreat further. Everyone, retreat." Emperor Yu flicked his sleeves. Although everyone didn't understand, they still retreated. Since Emperor Yu agreed, there was no way he would play any tricks. What sort of characters were the people here? Emperor Yu was an immortal emperor and was naturally extremely intelligent. He knew the consequences of making a fool out of them. Emperor Yu's figure slowly soared up into the air. The two beside him also retreated. An instant later, Emperor Yu appeared in the air. His white hair fluttered even though there was no wind. His long robes fluttered as a raging wind gusted. A fearsome might gushed forth from him, instantly enveloping the surroundings. In the center of Emperor Yu's brows, a terrifying divine light radiated resplendently, incomparably resplendent. In just a short instant, Emperor Yu's surroundings shone with golden light as countless ancient runes floated in the center of his brows, exuding boundless might. Abruptly, a terrifying beam of light shot out from him, blasting towards the ground. Boom, boom, boom. At this instant, the entire space trembled as boundless runic light shot towards the ground. A gigantic golden diagram appeared there, containing ancient runes that towered up into the sky, exuding an unfathomable might. Emperor Yu's might didn't diminish at all. Boundless immortal sense gushed forth, blasting into the ground, causing the entire area to turn golden, transforming into a terrifying formation. Finally, when everything came to an end, the gazes of everyone turned to the great earth. Countless runic inscriptions flowed about, as numerous ancient characters floated in the air, as though they were three-dimensional existences. What was even more terrifying was that there was actually a golden figure standing there. This figure was formed from countless runic inscriptions, and its entire body seemed to be a body of a talisman. It exuded a terrifying might that could cause one's soul to tremble. Emperor Yu floated in the air, staring at the stunned crowd as he spoke. This is the ultimate art of God's hand. Everyone can cultivate it. I hope that everyone will be able to succeed in it. Zidi took the lead and stepped out, instantly appearing below the gigantic golden diagram. Zidi closed his eyes and quietly sensed it. BZZ, BZZ, numerous figures stepped out at the same time, entering the diagram. Nanfeng Guhong spoke, "If any of you want to enter, don't leave my side." Yes. Everyone nodded. There were simply too many experts here. Nanfeng Guhong, as an immortal emperor, would be able to protect them. Nanfeng Guhong also stepped in. Qin Wentian also entered the diagram, bathing in boundless runic light. Qin Wentian closed his eyes as numerous ancient runes floated into his sea of consciousness. They were so clear and incomparably mystical. This was actually real, the ultimate art of God's hand. Qin Wentian had no distractions in his heart, immersing himself in it. He could deeply sense the profoundness of God's hand. He transformed the immortal energy in his body into runes, transforming them into corporeal ancient runes, stimulating the strength of his entire body and not just his hands. All the energy in his body converged on his immortal foundation, transforming into a wondrous energy that could shake the heavens and earth. God's hand was like the hands of a divinity. God's hand wasn't an extremely complicated ultimate art. It was very simple yet incomparably profound, containing countless transformations within. One had to continuously comprehend it and grow stronger. If one couldn't comprehend it, they wouldn't even be able to gain an elementary understanding of it. There were many ultimate arts in the immortal realms that were cultivated step by step, from weak to strong. Even if one's talent wasn't very high, they would still be able to comprehend a little and unleash a small amount of power. However, God's hand was different. If one couldn't comprehend it, then they wouldn't be able to comprehend it. It wasn't something that could be cultivated step by step. As long as you comprehended it, you might be able to succeed in a single attempt. But how much power you could unleash would depend on your own comprehension abilities, how deep your comprehension was, and how much power you could unleash. God's hand wasn't a fixed method of attack. The cultivators were different and the energy they were proficient in was different. God's hand was able to unleash countless transformations. 3 days later, everyone was still immersed in it, including the immortal emperors. "Everyone, have you finished your cultivation?" At this moment, a voice rang out, shaking the eardrums of everyone. This caused everyone to open their eyes and stare in the direction of Emperor Yu. They all stepped out, exiting the space filled with runic characters. However, their gazes were still fixed there as their brows were tightly furrowed. Zidi grabbed out with his hand as a gigantic palm imprint blasted out towards the sky. Emperor Yu laughed when he saw this. "Is this God's hand? This should be a gigantic palm imprint, right? God's hand isn't complete. It only has the form but not the essence. Where is the essence of this ultimate art?" Zidi inclined his head and stared at Emperor Yu. His eyes gleamed with violet light, exuding an imposing might. As an immortal emperor character in the immortal realms, you actually still need others to teach you the essence? Emperor Yu stared at Zidi and laughed. From this point alone, you are far inferior compared to the ancient Emperor Yi. Zidi's eyes narrowed. The violet chi in the air towered up into the sky, resembling a terrifying tempest. When Emperor Yu saw this, he asked, "Why? You can't evaluate it?" "I will step into the ancient emperor realm." Zidi coldly spoke. "Now, tell us, where is the other part?" "Inside the ancient mountain." At this moment, the immortal emperor from the Jiang clan spoke. His eyes gleamed with a divine light as he stared at the ancient mountain peaks behind the God Hand Mountain Manor. Over there, even his eyes couldn't see through it. There must be a secret hidden there. Let's go and take a look. The demon Emperor Golden Condor stepped out, wanting to head over. However, Emperor Yu laughed, there's no need for you to act. You guys want to see the complete version of God's hand? I'm afraid none of you have the ability to do so. You speak too much nonsense. The golden battle chi from the demon emperor gushed forth. Emperor Yu glanced at a person beside him. That person's silhouette flashed as he flew towards the ancient mountain in the distance. An instant later, the clouds above the ancient mountain started to churn violently. There was actually a terrifying grand formation hidden within. The clouds dissipated, revealing a gigantic diagram that locked down the entire space. Emperor Yu stretched out his palm, and a resplendent golden light flashed in his palm. A golden arrow appeared in his hand, containing a torrential sharpness. Swish! A thunderous sound rang out, the arrow pierced through the air, instantly landing on the gigantic diagram. With a thunderous boom, the entire world seemed to change. A mysterious ancient mountain covered in churning clouds appeared in the vision of everyone. The immortal emperors here instantly sent their immortal senses out, wanting to probe it. They only felt that it was incomparably mysterious, their immortal senses were all restricted. Bzz. A raging wind gusted as demonic chi towered up into the sky. Golden light enveloped this entire space, incomparably resplendent. The demon emperor Golden Condor flapped its golden wings and instantly entered the ancient mountain. The eyes of the immortal emperors flashed as they prepared to act. But at this very instant, a towering aura gushed forth as the Golden Condor soared up into the sky. Boundless golden light illuminated the area as a destructive palm manifested, blotting out the sun as it blasted out. The demon emperor roared, causing heaven and earth to shake violently. He retreated hundreds of kilometers in the blink of an eye, where rumbling sounds could be heard. The ground was torn apart, and the sky was split open by the golden light. The mountain peaks in the area were all crushed into powder. Roar! The demon emperor let out a heaven-shaking roar. His supreme combat might cause those with lower cultivation bases to prostrate on the ground. A palm imprint from the ancient mountain forced the demon emperor to retreat. Emperor Yu's eyes gleamed with sharpness. He swept his gaze over everyone as he spoke, even if there's an ultimate art within this ancient mountain, I'm afraid none of the immortal emperors here would be able to enter. Chapter 1062. A raging wind gusted as golden light flashed. The demon emperor Condor returned. His expression was incomparably sharp as he stared at Emperor Yu. Why are you looking at me? I didn't ask you to enter. You guys are the ones who requested to enter. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. Everyone here is an extraordinary character. Since all of you want to cultivate God's hand, I shall place God's hand before you all. Could it be that all of you want to blame me for failing? What a joke. What's in the ancient mountain? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor walked up and asked. The gazes of everyone turned to Emperor Yu. Seems like it wouldn't be so easy to obtain God's hand. Even if Emperor Yu allowed them to cultivate it, it would still be extremely difficult. I've said it before, I'm merely the protector of the ultimate art. This ancient mountain was left behind by ancient Emperor Yi and contains the essence of the so-called ultimate art you all want. Perhaps, it might be able to enlighten you all. However, I have to remind everyone that this ancient mountain isn't so easy to enter. The stronger one's cultivation base is, the greater the influence they would feel because the essence of the ultimate art you all will feel will be more real. It's so real that it's like a real attack, directly attacking you. Emperor Yu's eyes gradually turned sharp. Since so many experts came to the God Hand Mountain Manor wanting to obtain God's hand, he might as well go with the flow. It was indeed about time for God's hand to appear. There were already some young men who managed to cultivate God's hand in the city of ancient emperors and came here. Now, it all depended on who had the fortune to obtain the complete secret art. As the protector of this secret art, he could also give up on everything. Ancient Emperor E is merely an ancient person. Can the will he left behind stop us? Ziti stood there arrogantly, his imposingness growing even more intense. He stared at the horizons with an eager look on his face. I don't wish to repeat myself. The complete secret art, God's hand, is right before your eyes. If you all have the ability, go ahead and obtain it. There's no need for me to waste my breath. I also know why everyone is here and can't be bothered to waste words with an old man like me. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. Ziti's silhouette flashed and instantly appeared at the entrance of the ancient mountain. Violet chi rose from the east, the entire space was filled with violet light. The silhouette of the Violet Emperor was like an ancient god, exuding boundless might. He stepped out, directly entering the ancient mountain. Ziti was a peak-stage immortal emperor character in the immortal realms. How powerful was he? If the true body of ancient Emperor E was here, Ziti would definitely feel inferior. However, this ancient mountain was left behind by ancient Emperor E. How could he, Ziti, be unable to enter? The silhouette of the Violet Emperor disappeared directly, entering the ancient mountain. A formless pressure emanated from the ancient mountain, causing everything within 1,000 miles to tremble. Everyone's hearts trembled along with it. Within the ancient mountain, violet light towered up into the skies as a supreme might enveloped the entire region. Although the experts of the God Hand Mountain Manor were very far away, they could feel the earth beneath their feet trembling unceasingly. In fact, there were even faint cracks appearing on the ground. Rumble. A terrifying pressure enveloped everyone. They had no way to see what was happening within the ancient mountain. Finally, boundless violet light shot up into the clouds as Ziti appeared there. The resplendent violet radiance seemed to have been shattered, and he appeared to be in a sorry state. His eyes were filled with violet light as he stared at the ancient mountain below with an extremely unsightly expression on his face. Even Ziti can't enter. The hearts of the crowd trembled. If Ziti couldn't enter, most probably none of the immortal emperors present here would be able to. Ziti wasn't willing to give up. He stepped into the ancient mountain once more as that oppressive pressure engulfed the sky once more. Not long after, Ziti came out again. This time around, he didn't persist and chose to return to the God Hand Mountain Manor with an extremely unsightly expression on his face. Go in and try. Ziti spoke to an immortal king beside him. That immortal king nodded and stepped out, entering the ancient mountain. Everyone turned their gazes over, paying close attention to what was happening. Within the ancient mountain, another terrifying collision sound rang out. Although it wasn't as intense as before, it still caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Not long after, that immortal king was forced back, coughing out a mouthful of blood. However, his life wasn't in danger. This ancient mountain was able to block Ziti, yet it couldn't even kill an immortal king. From this, one could tell that Emperor Yu didn't say anything. The stronger one's cultivation base was, the greater the effect would be. Emperor Xiao, why don't you let your daughter go in and try? Zi Daoyang stared at Xiao Lingyue as he spoke. Xiao Lingyue's cultivation base was the lowest among everyone here. She was only at the peak of celestial phenomenon and had yet to break through to immortal foundation. The eyes of the Xiao Emperor flickered as he hesitated. Ziti's gaze was incomparably imposing, exuding a faint pressure. Although they were both immortal emperors, Ziti's cultivation base was higher than his. Hence, although immortal emperors were immortal emperors, in front of Ziti, they were no different from immortal kings. At the immortal emperor level, a single level higher could suppress someone to death. Father, let me try. Xiao Lingyue spoke. Only then did the Xiao Emperor nod, I will bring you over. After speaking, the Xiao Emperor brought Xiao Lingyue to the ancient mountain. Outside the ancient mountain, he placed Xiao Lingyue down and allowed her to enter. Within the ancient mountain, no aura could be sensed. The Xiao Emperor saw Xiao Lingyue advancing step by step without any abnormalities. In fact, she wasn't even attacked at all. His gaze then turned to the direction of the God Hand Mountain Manor as he felt a sense of shock in his heart. My daughter is in the ancient mountain, she isn't affected at all. The Shao Emperor spoke. She isn't affected at all. This means that even if she entered, it would be pointless. Emperor Yu smiled. That place contains the divine essence of God's hand. If she can't even sense the divine essence, what's the point of entering? In that case, immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are the most suitable to enter the ancient mountain? An immortal emperor from the Jiang clan asked. Emperor Yu smiled but didn't reply. It's fine for people of any cultivation base to enter. It's up to you. God's hand is right before your eyes, whether you can cultivate it or not depends on your luck. But let me remind all of you that God's hand is something all of you want to cultivate. I'll open the doors to allow all of you to come into contact with Senior Emperor Yi's secret art. I don't expect all of you to be grateful to me, but if your disciples or descendants die because of this secret art, don't blame it on this old man. If that's the case, you would truly be a laughing stock. Everyone wants you to stay here and not leave. If anything happens after we enter, we won't blame you. An immortal emperor from the Ying clan spoke, his words causing the other immortal emperors to nod as their eyes gleamed with sharpness. That's right, Emperor, you had to stay behind. If not, who knew if you would be able to control the energy within the ancient mountain? Okay, I will stay here and watch over everyone. Please do as you wish. Emperor, you didn't mind the overbearing request of the other party. He then spoke in a carefree manner, men, prepare a banquet. This old man will stay here to entertain the guests who came from afar. Yes. The white-robed butler Lu nodded. After that, he left to instruct the subordinates of the manor. Not long after, there really was a banquet prepared. Emperor Yu sat there with a smile on his face, as though he was looking at the rising wind and surging clouds. Everyone, please feel free to do as you please. Emperor Yu waved his hands, as though he didn't care about anything. The other immortal emperors weren't as calm as Emperor Yu. They respectively sent their immortal kings to probe the ancient mountain. Not only for them, the immortal kings of the southern regions also entered as well. The ancient mountain trembled as the sounds of attacks rang out unceasingly. Those immortal kings were all blasted out, unable to enter the ancient mountain. In fact, there were even some who were injured. And this was merely the moment they entered the ancient mountain. It was unknown what secrets there were in the depths of the ancient mountain. Immortal kings couldn't enter, only immortal foundation experts could. They tried again and as expected, the cultivation bases of immortal foundation experts were weaker. Hence, the attacks they encountered were weaker as well. But because their cultivation bases were lower, some of them were forced back, but there were also some who could advance. As they probed again and again, they seemed to have discovered a pattern. At this moment, the experts of the Namhuang clan sat together, enjoying the delicacies and wine. Their gazes surveyed the surroundings only to hear Nanfeng Guhong saying, God's hand isn't easy to obtain. How can the secret arts of ancient emperors be so easily comprehended? Qin Wentian laughed. You can tell. Nanfeng Guhong's gaze landed on Qin Wentian. Senior Emperor, you said that the ancient mountain contains the essence of the secret art. However, for those who enter, the stronger their cultivation base is, the stronger the attacks they would face. They would be able to comprehend the most, while those with weaker cultivation bases could easily enter. But if they couldn't see anything, what's the use of that? Hence, if one wants to comprehend the secret art, immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are the most suitable to enter. However, if they want to pry into the secrets of the secret art, they would have to endure attacks that far surpass their cultivation base. Qin Wentian spoke. I don't think so. If it's like what you said, there's no solution. I believe that ancient Emperor Yi left the secret art here because he wanted to find a successor and not because he wanted to waste time. Only those who truly have the ability to enter the depths of the ancient mountain would have the qualifications to probe and pry into the secrets of the secret art. But clearly, this entrance has already been sealed by too many people. Nanfeng Guhong calmly spoke. Her thoughts were the same as the other immortal emperors. They were already prepared to send their most outstanding geniuses into the ancient mountain, including their descendants. Oh yeah, let me remind everyone again. If your immortal senses were to appear in there, you would instantly sense the divine essence of the secret arts in the ancient mountain. However, your immortal senses are far inferior compared to your true bodies and would be instantly blasted into nothingness. Hence, when you send your descendants into the ancient mountain, you have to be more cautious. Emperor Yu laughed, his words causing many immortal emperors to coldly glance at him. Although this was the case, they had no choice. Only by entering the ancient mountain would they be able to comprehend the secret art. Inside, this was the only chance. Their descendants had to personally enter. After all, the secret art wasn't a secret art, there was no way for them to bring it out. Ziyu, do you want to enter? The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan asked Jiang Ziyu. Since the opportunity has appeared, I naturally have to enter. Jiang Ziyu's eyes gleamed with sharpness. Good, I've already told my clan to send their geniuses over to accompany you into the ancient mountain. The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan spoke. Not only him, the Ying clan did the same as well. I'm afraid they will still send more people over. My Namhuang clan will also send some experts over to enter the ancient mountain. You guys should continue to comprehend the power of God's hand and increase your chances of success. Nanfeng Guhong spoke. The reappearance of God's hand in the southern regions would naturally cause a huge commotion. After several days, even more experts arrived at the God Hand Mountain Manor. Emperor Yu was still as carefree as ever, as though everything had nothing to do with him. He was just an outsider, watching the storm from the sidelines. After a few more days, the Emperor Qianbian and Bai Wuya also arrived. At the same time, there were also some people who Qin Wentian had never met before. All of them exuded extraordinary auras and were at different levels of immortal foundation. Chapter 1063. More and more experts gathered at the God Hand Mountain Manor. The immortal emperors here tried many times and understood that immortal foundation was the best choice to enter the ancient mountain. Only they would have a chance to enter the depths of the ancient mountain and comprehend the divine essence of God's hand, obtaining the complete version. Hence, they gathered many immortal foundation geniuses from their sects here. In fact, there were already more and more immortal foundation experts who entered the ancient mountain. Some could only walk at the periphery and had no way to enter. However, there were also some outstanding geniuses who disappeared from the vision of the crowd. Clearly, they had already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. Qin Wentian wasn't in a hurry. He sat cross-legged and stared at the runic diagram of God's hand as he continued to comprehend the complete version. Leaving aside immortal emperors and immortal kings, their comprehension abilities might be extraordinary. But at the immortal foundation level, Qin Wentian was certain that no one would have a deeper comprehension of God's hand compared to him. After all, he was someone who had truly cultivated God's hand before and could already unleash the power of God's hand. His comprehension of the complete version of God's hand grew increasingly deeper and he knew how to activate it. Emperor Yu was as carefree as ever, sitting in a pavilion and enjoying the immortal banquet. No matter how many people came, he didn't care at all, allowing them to do what they wanted. It had nothing to do with him. Ziyu, are you still not going in? The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan stared at Jiang Ziyu who was sitting cross-legged as he asked. There were already many people who entered the ancient mountain, including those from the Ying clan. Yet, Jiang Ziyu was still unmoved. There's no hurry. Try to comprehend more of God's hand. The more proficient you are, the more beneficial it would be for you to comprehend the divine essence of God's hand. In addition, I'm waiting for someone to enter first. Jiang Ziyu calmly spoke. He glanced at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian had already cultivated God's hand before. Since Qin Wentian wasn't in a hurry, why should he, Jiang Ziyu, be in a hurry? In that case, I will get the people from the Jiang clan to wait for you. The Jiang clan's great emperor spoke. Among the people here, although they were all members of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu's talent was the highest and his status was the highest among them. If there was someone who could comprehend God's hand, Jiang Ziyu would have the greatest chance. The others came here to assist Jiang Ziyu. Nanfeng Guhong was also in no hurry. She turned her gaze to Qin Wendian and Namhuang Yunxi, allowing the Namhuang clan to follow them into the ancient mountain. Qin Wendian continued to comprehend for several days. His body glowed with immortal light as a huge transformation occurred. Numerous complicated runes appeared as his immortal foundation transformed into various diagrams, transforming into a powerful energy that stimulated his immortal body. However, he was still a step away. Just like back then when Qin Wendian entered the underground palace together with Shaolin Yue, he was only able to comprehend the form of God's hand. Only after he saw the blood-colored runes in the underground palace would he be able to unleash the true power of God's hand. The secret should be hidden somewhere in the ancient mountain. Today, a mysterious figure appeared in the God Hand Mountain Manor. Beside this mysterious figure was a black hound that exuded a baleful aura. Its eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness, and everyone who came into contact with the black hound's gaze would feel a chill down their spines. The person beside the black hound was clad in a long robe and exuded an unfathomable aura. It was impossible to tell his age and appearance because he had a mysterious bronze mask on his face. His exposed eyes were deep and cold, causing people to be able to sense the sharpness in them. At the same time, they could also sense that this person wasn't very old and should be a young man. His cultivation base was only at the Immortal Foundation realm. Jiang Ziyu turned his gaze to the mysterious figure. His eyes turned terrifying as he stared into the eyes of the mysterious figure, wanting to see through everything. At the same time, the mysterious figure seemed to have sensed his gaze and turned back to him as well. Jiang Ziyu saw a pair of extremely deep and terrifying eyes. The power contained in the mysterious figure's eyes had no way to hide, it was completely blocked, he couldn't see through it. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flashed, he didn't expect that there would be another interesting person here. Things were getting more and more interesting. The mysterious young man with the bronze mask swept his gaze over everyone before closing his eyes to meditate. Everyone saw that he was alone and didn't pay much attention to this mysterious figure. In fact, there were even some who silently mused that this mysterious figure was trying to act mysterious. At this moment, Qin Wendian stood up. The gazes of many turned to him, only to see Qin Wendian nodding his head to the Emperor of Qianbian and Bai Wuya. Seems like your life in the Namhuang clan isn't too bad. The Emperor of Qianbian stared at the beauties beside Qin Wendian as he smiled. Luckily, the Namhuang clan has been taking good care of me. Qin Wendian laughed. Seems like your harvest this time around isn't small. Now, it's time for you to enter. The Emperor of Qianbian spoke. Right. Qin Wendian nodded. After that, he turned his gaze onto the ancient mountain and stepped out, moving in that direction. Namhuang Yunxi and the others from the Namhuang clan followed after him. The group of young men beside the Emperor of Qianbian and Bai Wuya also stepped out, preparing to enter the ancient mountain. Jiang Ziyu of the Jiang clan stood up and spoke, "Let's go." As the sound of his voice faded, they all moved towards the ancient mountain. Dong Xingting stared at the silhouette of Qin Wendian as a cold light flashed in his eyes. After that, he and the other disciples of the other immortal emperors stepped out at the same time, moving towards the ancient mountain. It was as though because of Qin Wendian's actions, all of them would be affected. After the group entered the ancient mountain, the mysterious figure with the bronze mask gently stroked his black hound, before bringing the black hound with him into the ancient mountain. Very swiftly, the number of people here grew fewer and fewer. Only a few immortal emperors and emperors remained, as well as those who couldn't enter the ancient mountain. With so many geniuses entering the ancient mountain in search of good fortune, there would surely be many who would die here. Also, there would definitely be descendants of those who are present here. I've already warned everyone, don't blame this old man if they die here. This is the path you all chose for yourselves. Emperor Yu spoke, his voice filled with coldness. Humph, Zidi coldly snorted. Among his descendants, Zi Daoyang was the youngest and had the lowest cultivation base. As for his other descendants, none of them were at the Immortal Foundation realm. This time around, he ordered one of his nephews with outstanding talent to enter the ancient mountain. Naturally, there would definitely be people who would die here. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly spoke as he glanced in the direction of the Emperor of Qianbian. Eastern Sage, if Qin Wendian and Dongxing Ting encountered each other alone, who do you think would die? The Emperor of Qianbian laughed as he stared at the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor's eyes flashed with coldness. Naturally, Qin Wendian would die. Is that so? Why did I hear that your son Dongxing Ting doesn't even have the courage to fight against Qin Wendian? The Emperor of Qianbian sarcastically spoke. Wu Ya said that back then when you went to the particle world to recruit disciples, Qin Wendian was only an initial stage celestial phenomenon. At that time, Dongxing Ting was already a lofty Immortal Foundation cultivator, yet he actually cowered from battle in the Namhuang clan. This son of yours is truly trash. I hope he would be able to walk out alive. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor's countenance was ice cold as a violent might gushed forth. The Emperor of Qianbian coldly laughed. Why? Do you want to fight again? Qianbian, I hope you can continue being so arrogant. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor threatened. His gaze then turned to Bai Wuya, flickering with coldness. Back then in the particle world, if it wasn't for Bai Wuya's timely arrival, his Dongshengshan Gate would have already annihilated the experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate who came to the particle world. Qin Wendian and the others had already arrived at the top of the ancient mountain. The interior of this ancient mountain was extremely mysterious, containing a marvelous aura. All of a sudden, a voice drifted into his ears like a bolt of lightning. He turned his gaze ahead only to see an illusory gigantic palm imprint abruptly materializing, slamming towards him. Qin Wendian's immortal foundation erupted forth as God's hand appeared, transforming into a terrifying palm that blasted out, colliding with the illusory gigantic palm imprint. The others all had their own reactions, but their reactions weren't as intense as Qin Wendian's. What mysteries does this ancient mountain contain exactly? Qin Wendian silently mused. He continued walking forward, staring at the space before him. The space before him seemed to interweave together, transforming into a divine light. Another voice rang out as a thunderous boom rang out. A terrifying bolt of lightning flashed in Qin Wendian's mind. This was none other than the power of the gigantic palm imprint. Rumble. Qin Wendian's body trembled violently as he groaned in misery. His countenance turned pale. This mysterious and unfathomable ancient mountain was simply terrifying. Namhuang Yunxi and Jun Mengchen also suffered attacks, but their attacks weren't as intense as Qin Wendian's. Although they felt uncomfortable, they could still endure it. There shouldn't be any problems for them to enter the ancient mountain. This was something the immortal emperors had tried many times before. Immortal Foundation characters were the most suitable candidates to enter the ancient mountain. Jiang Ziyu followed behind Qin Wendian and entered the ancient mountain. His eyes flickered with a terrifying light, containing a mysterious aura. Faint golden light radiated from him as a towering might gushed forth from his body. The white tiger killing god howled in rage as it slashed out. Evidently, his eyes could see something that others couldn't. Truly strange. Even at the Immortal Foundation realm, I can see such a powerful aura. For immortal emperors, they could see through everything with a single glance the moment they entered the ancient mountain. Isn't this ancient emperor a little too shocking? Jiang Ziyu silently mused. He grew more vigilant and didn't dare to casually open his heavenly eye of the Buddhist path. Dongxing Ting stared at the back view of Qin Wendian. To him, the main purpose of entering the ancient mountain was to kill Qin Wendian. As for the mysterious masked young man behind Dongxing Ting, he had already closed his eyes and sealed his six senses. He didn't seem to be affected in the slightest. He didn't come here for the sake of God's hand. Although I suffered an attack, the formless attack penetrated into my mind, penetrating through my body. Before this, I seemed to have gained a trace of insight into God's hand. Nan Fengshenga spoke in a light voice. It's just that I'm still far from comprehending God's hand. Most probably, to the vast majority of people, this would be a pointless risk. That's true. Qin Wentian nodded. Everyone, be more careful. As they spoke, they continued deeper into the ancient mountain. Before them, there were still many experts who entered the ancient mountain. Their speed was extremely slow. Chapter 1064. As the experts ventured deeper, there were gradually some who couldn't endure it any longer, having no way to continue forward. This ancient mountain seemed boundlessly deep and mysterious. Occasionally, a mystical sound would ring out, resembling the sound of the Great Tao, causing everyone to tremble as though they were struck by lightning. Yet, Qin Wentian could feel a summoning force, urging him to continue advancing forward. The divine essence of God's hand seemed to be everywhere in this ancient mountain range. His gaze turned to a certain mountain. Instantly, Qin Wentian had an illusion that there was a gigantic diagram engraved on the mountain. The terrifying diagram was in the shape of a human, and all of a sudden, a fearsome palm imprint blasted out. Qin Wentian's gaze penetrated through everything, wanting to see through the palm imprint and the diagram. Stepping out, he pushed his strength to the limit as his immortal foundation shone with a resplendent light. God's hand appeared and blasted out. Rumble. The space trembled as a mountain-toppling and sea-overturning energy blasted out in all directions, slamming into the mountain rampart. However, it had no effect at all. Qin Wentian's eyes were still staring ahead. That terrifying gaze of his seemed to be able to see through everything, wanting to see through the divine essence diagram. Another mysterious energy manifested in his body as boundless runes circulated frenziedly. Rumbling sounds reverberated through the air as numerous gigantic palm imprints blasted over, exuding an overwhelming killing intent. A demon sword appeared in Qin Wentian's hand, humming as demonic qi gushed forth, resembling a great rock spreading its wings. The glow of God's hand shone brilliantly as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. With a slash of his sword, a towering great rock howled in rage, shattering the terrifying palm imprints unceasingly. Qin Wentian slowly walked up the air, heading straight for the palm imprints. Within the ancient mountain, a formless energy akin to the ringing of a bell directly rang out in his mind. It was like a bolt of lightning, causing the diagram in his mind to grow even clearer. However, his actions didn't pause at all. The demon sword danced about as numerous great rocks shattered the void, breaking apart everything. Finally, the divine essence gradually dimmed. However, Qin Wentian's eyes still gleamed with a resplendent divine light. Qin Wentian kept the demon sword and turned his head back, only to see several experts attacking the ancient mountain. Evidently, he wasn't the only one who sensed the divine essence within. Shenga. At this moment, a voice drifted over. Nanfeng Shenga turned her gaze over only to see Kong Yi and Zhong Zhan appearing there. The person who spoke was none other than Kong Yi. He then spoke, Shenga, this ancient mountain contains the Tao of laws and can transform them into attacks. Do you want to come with us? No need, we have quite a lot of people. Nanfeng Shenga smiled and shook her head. Kong Yi glanced at Qin Wentian and the others from the Namhuang clan before nodding his head and didn't say anything. Let's continue on our way. Qin Wentian spoke when he saw everyone stopping. Other than the people from the Namhuang clan, the people brought by Emperor Qianbian and by Wu Ya were not far away from them. Behind them, Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi's subordinates could be seen. Among them, Dongsheng Ting and another young man were in the lead. This young man was none other than Zidi's nephew. His name was Zi Yunwu and his talent was extraordinary. Zidi regarded this nephew highly and imparted a secret art to him, causing Zi Yunwu to be extremely powerful. Dongsheng Ting, Zi Yunwu, and the others walked behind Qin Wentian. Their gazes were filled with coldness when they glanced at Qin Wentian. This caused Jiang Ziyu, who was not far away from them, to have a mysterious smile on his face. Seems like there would be a good show playing out in the ancient mountain. He only needed to wait and watch. Jiang Ziyu's gaze would occasionally turn to the young man with the bronze mask who was walking with his eyes closed. Black Hound followed behind him, traveling alone, with no companions. Sir, do you want to travel together? We can take care of each other during the journey. Jiang Ziyu spoke to the mysterious masked young man. No need. The other party merely replied, there were no fluctuations in his tone. Jiang Ziyu smiled, he didn't mind it at all. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had already passed since Qin Wentian and the others entered the ancient mountain. During these 3 days, the God Hand Mountain Manor was as calm as ever. Emperor Yu gave the order to prepare a grand banquet for everyone. This banquet lasted for several days and nights, and no matter who it was, they could all enter. Zidi, Dongxing Heaven Emperor and the others didn't leave. The various immortal emperors all sent their descendants to enter the ancient mountain. They naturally wanted to wait for the good news from them. Emperor Yu, is this ancient mountain truly left behind by ancient Emperor Yi? Zidi turned his gaze to Emperor Yu as he asked. Naturally. Emperor Yu smiled and nodded. If not, why would an ancient mountain make you, Zidi, unable to enter even if you wanted to? What cultivation level did ancient Emperor Yi reach exactly back then? Zidi asked again. You should have heard of it before. Emperor Yu laughed. Only those characters who could unify the immortal realms were at that cultivation realm. Even if you are a peak stage immortal emperor, you wouldn't be able to withstand a single strike from ancient Emperor Yi. He could kill you with a single wave of his hand. A look of unhappiness appeared on Zidi's face. Even if he knew that Emperor Yu's words were true, he would step into that realm sooner or later. Emperor Yu, ancient Emperor Yi left behind the divine essence of his ultimate art in the ancient mountain. This means that only those who enter the ancient mountain would be able to obtain the inheritance. For those who obtained the God's hand, it's useless even if we capture them. Seems like ancient Emperor Yi regarded this ultimate art with great importance and was afraid that the inheritor would meet with misfortune. Dongxing Heaven Emperor laughed. For an ultimate art like God's hand, other than some unique ones, which other ultimate art would be so easy to cultivate? Even for Zidi's ultimate Violet Saint immortal art, could it be that those who captured Zidi's inheritor would be able to cultivate it? If it's so simple, wouldn't Zidi's inheritor be in danger? For the descendants of the Jiang clan and Namhuang clan, which of them would dare to roam the immortal realms alone? Emperor Yu coldly laughed. Dongxing Heaven Emperor is speaking nonsense. Emperor Yu, seems like you have a lot of resentment. Dongxing Heaven Emperor smiled. From what I know, God's hand reappeared in the city of ancient emperors and was cultivated by a descendant. This time around, Emperor Yu inscribed the ultimate art here and opened the ancient mountain. Does this have anything to do with him? You want to ask if this ancient mountain was opened for a single person, right? Emperor Yu laughed. The complete secret art is right in front of everyone. You are an immortal emperor yet you still doubt it? How laughable. I'm just casually speaking, Emperor Yu, please don't take offense. I naturally believe in Emperor Yu. If not, if it was really prepared for a single person, I'm afraid all our efforts would have been for naught. God's hand would vanish from the immortal realms once again. That would truly be a pity. Dongxing Heaven Emperor calmly spoke. The eyes of Nanfeng Guhong and Emperor Qianbian flashed when they heard this. The Emperor Qianbian calmly spoke, Eastern Sage, you are boasting shamelessly again. Boasting shamelessly? Dongxing Heaven Emperor drank a cup of wine and smiled. I wonder if you still have a strand of immortal sense on him. If you do, you would naturally be able to see him one last time before he dies. Sadly, the ancient mountain is capable of destroying all strands of immortal sense. I'm afraid you won't be able to save him. Eastern Sage, as an immortal emperor, you actually want to kill a young man who just stepped into immortal foundation. I truly feel ashamed for you. Emperor Qianbian coldly spoke. From Eastern Sage's tone, it seemed that he was extremely confident that he could kill Qin Wentian. And as expected, he led the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate here, borrowing the opportunity of comprehending God's hand. He wanted to take Qin Wentian's life. Qin Wentian and the others have already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. Numerous towering peaks towered up into the sky. This mysterious ancient mountain seemed to have no end. During these days, Qin Wentian and the others comprehended many different types of energy. The number of people here also decreased, but when they truly entered the depths of the ancient mountain, they discovered that the divine essence contained within was even more profound than before. Many people were no longer affected by the ancient mountain because they couldn't sense the existence of the divine essence. They would only feel their hearts trembling occasionally, as though there was a terrifying and mysterious energy hidden within the depths of the ancient mountain. At this moment, Qin Wentian and the others arrived in front of a vast mountain rampart. There were mountain ramparts on 3 sides and there was a narrow passageway in front of them. But before that, Qin Wentian stared at the mountain rampart in a daze. There was a diagram on the rampart, and there were ancient characters floating in the air, imprinting themselves into Qin Wentian's sea of consciousness. These ancient characters transformed into boundless energy that ravaged his body. Circulating his god's hand, the ancient characters grew clearer and clearer. His immortal foundation shone with a bright light as terrifying runic inscriptions radiated from him, unleashing a terrifying might. Boom, boom, boom. Qin Wentian only felt his body enduring the intense attacks from the ancient characters. His bones emitted cracking sounds as his body trembled unceasingly. His countenance turned pale, and as he unleashed the power of God's hand, the attacks grew more and more intense, to the point where it felt like his body was about to be destroyed. If one wants to cultivate God's hand, it's impossible even if one's physique is extremely tyrannical. One has to have a perfect physique. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The people in the surroundings were all comprehending, and at this moment, Qin Wentian felt a killing intent. He abruptly turned, and after that, he saw Dongxing Ting and Zi Yunwu leading their troops away, forming an encirclement around them. A cold light flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Dongxing Ting and the others had been following him all this while. How could Qin Wentian not know what Dongxing Ting wanted to do? It was just that he was waiting to see what capabilities Dongxing Ting had exactly to act against him. There were many experts on both sides. Before the battle started, nobody knew what would happen. Now, even if you want to exit, it's already impossible. Dongxing Ting coldly spoke, staring at Qin Wentian and the others. Where does your confidence come from? Qin Wentian's eyes flickered with killing intent as well. How could he not want Dongxing Ting to die? Dongxing Ting turned his gaze to Namhuang Yunxi and the others. Everyone from the Namhuang clan, I don't wish to make things difficult for all of you. This is a grudge between us and Qin Wentian. Everyone, please don't interfere and just stand aside and watch. Namhuang Yunxi stared at Dongxing Ting. Qin Wentian's matters are my Namhuang clan's matters as well. If this is the case, I'm afraid we would offend the Holy Maiden. Dongxing Ting coldly spoke. Beams of immortal light flashed as the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate took out their immortal weapons. Qin Wentian, the experts from the Namhuang clan as well as the experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate also took out their immortal weapons. There were experts from all levels of immortal foundation here. Once a chaotic battle broke out, it would be extremely dangerous. Dongxing Ting waved his hand as a terrifying spinning disc appeared. This disc contained incomparably complicated runes, it was so deep that one couldn't see the bottom. Dongxing Ting infused his immortal energy into it, and a moment later, the spinning disc radiated a terrifying devouring light that expanded unceasingly. The demon sword in Qin Wentian's hand hummed as though it was about to fly out of his hands. Get over here! Dongxing Ting roared. The spinning disc in his hand expanded as beams of silvery light shot out, gushing towards his opponents. With a swishing sound, the immortal weapon in the hands of a female from the Namhuang clan flew out and was directly absorbed by the spinning disc. Chapter 1065. Devour Immortal Weapons. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. His demon sword directly slashed out as a beam of sword light tore through the air. Dongxing Ting coldly snorted and stepped out. The light from the spinning wheel was still as bright as before, the energy slashed out by the demon's sword was directly devoured by the spinning wheel. At the same time, a powerful suction force pulled the demon's sword away. Qin Wentian's countenance changed as he spoke, "Keep your immortal weapons." As the sound of his voice faded, everyone kept their immortal weapons. The expressions of the experts from the Namhuang clan were all extremely unsightly to behold. As for the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate and Zidi, all of them had immortal weapons in their hands that could enhance their combat prowess. Qin Wentian, this ancient mountain shall be the place where you will die. Dongxing Ting coldly spoke. The gigantic spinning wheel in front of him unceasingly radiated a terrifying suction force. The law energy contained within this powerful immortal weapon could easily envelop this entire space, preventing Qin Wentian and the others from using immortal weapons. In fact, it could even devour the immortal energy attacking him. In this case, Dongxing Ting and the others were basically in an invincible position. You are truly well prepared. Seems like this immortal weapon that old dog Eastern Sage gave you is specially used to deal with me. Qin Wentian stared at Dongxing Ting as he spoke. The immortal weapon in his hand was able to absorb the immortal weapons of others. In that case, they would undoubtedly be at a disadvantage in this battle. Your life is already at its end, yet your mouth is still so shameless. In this ancient mountain, no one can save you. Kill. Dongxing Ting coldly spoke. A moment later, his experts rushed towards Qin Wentian. At the same time, Zi Yunwu, the nephew of Zidi, also waved his hand as the experts from the various powers also rushed towards Qin Wentian. Jiang Ziyu and the others from the Jiang clan watched from the back. Has the battle finally begun? Everyone, disperse. Qin Wentian saw numerous immortal weapons radiating immortal might rushing over as he retreated. Everyone understood Qin Wentian's meaning. In such a situation, if they grouped together, they would undoubtedly become turtles trapped in a jar. The best method of combat was to expand the area of effect so that Dongxing Ting's immortal weapons wouldn't be able to envelop all of them. Kill Qin Wentian. Dongxing Ting coldly spoke. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic flying shuttle appeared beneath his feet, transforming into a whirlwind that revolved frenziedly as it flew towards Qin Wentian. The experts beside him all boarded their flying shuttles as they sped towards Qin Wentian. This caused Nam Huang Yunxi's beautiful eyes to stiffen. There were many experts from the Dongshengshan Gate who had extremely high cultivation bases, far surpassing Qin Wentian. In addition, they could even borrow the power of immortal-ranked weapons to fight. If they only targeted Qin Wentian, they would only be sending Qin Wentian to his death. Stop them. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. She once again sped towards Qin Wentian. The battle suddenly erupted as immortal might filled the air, causing a terrifying tempest to arise in this space. The experts from the Namhuang clan didn't even have time to disperse. They instantly gathered together and blasted out with their immortal might. The might of their immortal foundations gushed forth as they blasted out with their palms. Shadow after shadow of phoenixes swept through the area, causing the sky to turn red as terrifying flames burned the entire space. Qin Wentian, leave. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke to Qin Wentian. The person Dongxing Ting and his group wanted to kill the most was Qin Wentian. They didn't have any killing intent towards the Namhuang clan and didn't dare to act ruthlessly. Qin Wentian's countenance flickered with an intense coldness. Dongxing Ting waited until he entered the depths of the ancient mountain before acting. Clearly, Dongxing Ting wanted to sever his path of retreat and wanted to kill him no matter what. However, he allowed Dongxing Ting to follow him because he also had the same thoughts in his heart. Rumble, a terrifying sound rang out. The experts around Dongxing Ting unleashed their attacks, shattering the shadow of the phoenixes unleashed by the Namhuang clan. The experts from the Namhuang clan all retreated, evidently they were at a disadvantage. But at this moment, Dongxing Ting suddenly felt an intense sense of danger. A beam of sword light flashed in front of him and Dongxing Ting's countenance drastically changed. He hurriedly lifted the spinning wheel to block the attack. The sword light slashed apart the air as one of the experts beside Dongxing Ting screamed in agony. His face was directly severed as fresh blood splattered through the air. Their attacks slowed down as Dongxing Ting stopped. The experts around him instantly moved to his side to protect him. Chi. Another beam of sword chi slammed down. This time, it was a golden beam of sword light that didn't cause any terrifying commotion. However, this beam of sword chi seemed to descend from the void and was tyrannical to the extreme. When it slashed over, the space around it was about to be severed apart. An expert beside Dong Xingting lifted an immortal ranked shield and placed it in front of Dong Xingting, blocking all the attacks. After that, a thunderous boom rang out, like a bolt of lightning smashing into the ground. The powerful impact forced them all to retreat. Only now did everyone clearly see that the attacker was a young man who didn't seem very old. His immortal foundation might gushed forth as his entire body was enveloped by a screen of light. Terrifying sword might circulated around him, exuding boundless might. Someone from the immortal Qianbian Gate. The eyes of the experts beside Dong Xingting turned cold. Wasn't the combat prowess of this young man a little too tyrannical? He was actually able to unleash an illusory sword attack. After this person acted, the pressure on Qin Wendian and the experts from the Namhuang clan instantly lessened by a great deal. Other than the strength of the attacker, the other reason was because he chose the right time to attack as well as the person he attacked. The others had no choice but to protect Dong Xingting. If they wanted to kill Qin Wendian, he would attack Dong Xingting. Qin Wendian glanced at the attacker. This was the first time he saw this person, but he knew that this person would definitely play a crucial role. Because, this person was one of the 2 disciples from the Heavenly Talisman realm brought here by Bai Wuya. In addition, both of them were experts at the peak level of Immortal Foundation. Send a few people to deal with him. Dong Xingting glanced at the disciples from the Heavenly Talisman realm as he coldly spoke. The experts beside him exchanged glances, and a few moments later, a few high-leveled Immortal Foundation experts brought their immortal-ranked weapons and walked towards that person. Although it was very difficult for this person to change the overall situation, the threat of his attacks was too great. He could easily pose a fatal threat to Dong Xingting. Even if they couldn't kill him, they had to trap him. Are you able to kill Dong Xingting? At this moment, a voice drifted into Qin Wendian's ears. It was none other than a disciple from the Heavenly Talisman realm who transmitted his voice to him. If no one else interferes, there won't be a problem. Qin Wendian replied. Okay, it's not convenient for us to split up. We will work together with the Namhuang clan to delay this group of people. You leave this place and lure Dong Xingting into pursuing you. That person spoke again. Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. This idea was feasible, but it wouldn't be so easy to execute it. However, if he could really lure Dong Xingting away, the people on his side would be able to use their immortal-ranked weapons. It shouldn't be a problem for them to delay the battle. Go. That person spoke. Qin Wendian abruptly turned and sped towards the canyon behind him. A pair of great rock wings appeared behind his back as he moved with lightning speed. Where do you think you can escape to? Dong Xingting, Zi Yunwu, and a disciple of the Xian Emperor saw that Qin Wendian wanted to flee. How could they let him go? They rushed out at the same time, chasing after Qin Wendian. Numerous attacks blasted out, cleaving open a path for him. Stop them. Namhuang Yunshi commanded. The experts of the Namhuang clan rushed over, causing Dong Xingting and the others to split up to deal with the experts from the Namhuang clan. However, there were still over 10 experts who slaughtered their way out, disregarding everything else as they sped towards the direction where Qin Wendian was fleeing. Namhuang Yunshi's eyes flashed. She controlled the Phoenix boat and brought several experts with her as they sped towards Qin Wendian. Humph, Dong Xingting and the others coldly snorted. The flying shuttle spun madly, slicing through the air as it sped towards the canyon ahead. But at this moment, an expert suddenly appeared. It was none other than the other expert from the Heavenly Talisman realm, Wu Xiu. He had a mountain in his hand and abruptly smashed it downwards, wanting to seal this entire space. An expert beside Dong Xingting blasted out in rage. In an instant, tens of thousands of fist lights manifested, wanting to destroy everything. The mountain peak crumbled, transforming into countless rocks. But at this moment, a powerful gravity field suddenly manifested. Dong Xingting and Zi Yunwu only felt as though a gigantic mountain range was pressing down on them, making it extremely difficult for them to withstand the pressure. Boom! The expert in front stomped down as the might of his immortal foundation erupted forth. Dong Xingting's body directly fell from the air as he howled in pain. Go kill him. Dong Xingting commanded. The two of you go. Zi Yunwu also spoke. After which, several experts rushed towards the expert in front, surrounding the heavenly talisman realm. Dong Xingting and Zi Yunwu continued flying up into the air. Come down. The expert from the heavenly talisman realm glowed with a translucent light, as though he was clad in an indestructible armor. His palms grabbed out in the air as a formless palm imprint containing a terrifying gravitational force manifested. Dong Xingting had no way to escape from the gravity field even with his flying shuttle. Go down and kill him. Dong Xingting roared in rage. His gaze stared ahead. Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi had already fled far away. Young Master Ting. The eyes of the guard beside him flickered. Don't worry, there are only two of them in front. The few of us are enough to deal with them. Dong Xingting roared as he was pulled down. Quick! Roger! The guard beside him flew down as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. The expert below roared in rage, resembling a primordial giant. At this moment, Dong Xingting and Zi Yunwu rushed out of the gravity field and soared ahead. However, the other experts from the heavenly talisman realm were all enveloped by a terrifying might. Their eyes flashed with coldness as they slaughtered their way towards the expert below. On the main battlefield, Jiang Ziyu stared at the experts fighting as he coldly laughed in his heart. The experts from the Dongshengshan Gate didn't show any mercy when fighting against the experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate. However, they didn't dare to go all out against the experts from the Namhuang clan because the Dongshengshan Gate couldn't afford to antagonize the Namhuang clan. Now that Dong Xingting has left, the experts from the heavenly talisman realm would only be delayed. His gaze turned to the horizons as his terrifying eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. He then spoke in a low voice, Dong Xingting is finished. Dong Xingting should have the advantage, right? A person beside Jiang Ziyu spoke. That expert from the immortal Qianbian Gate in the canyon is much stronger compared to the one who used the void sword technique earlier. He should be able to delay Dong Xingting for a little longer, but he didn't, allowing Dong Xingting to chase after Qin Wentian. I'm sure Qin Wentian would have a way to kill Dong Xingting. Jiang Ziyu laughed, as though he had a very high opinion of Qin Wentian. His gaze abruptly shifted, only to see that there was no one beside him. His brows twitched. That black-robed expert with the bronze mask actually silently left during the battle. How interesting. Chapter 1066. At this moment, Nanfeng Yunxi was together with Qin Wentian, driving the phoenix boat through the gorge. Other than the two of them, there was another young woman with them. This young woman was none other than Nanfeng Yunxi's protector. She had always been following Nanfeng Yunxi, and her cultivation base was extremely high. There are people chasing after us. There are three of them, the disciples of Dong Xingting and the Violet Emperor. One of them has a low cultivation base, only at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation. However, his identity seems to be extraordinary and the person protecting him is extremely powerful. The person beside Nanfeng Yunxi spoke. In that case, Dong Xingting's protector has been intercepted. Qin Wentian's eyes flickered. Can you deal with the protector of Zidi's sect? If we all borrow immortal weapons, even if we can't defeat him, it shouldn't be a problem to delay him. She replied. Right, I will have to trouble Senior to stay behind and attack the protector. You only need to attack Dong Xingting and Zidi's disciples. That protector will definitely delay you. Leave Dong Xingting and Zi Yunwu to me and Yunxi. Qin Wentian spoke. Sure. The protector nodded. After which, his silhouette flickered as he leaped down from the phoenix boat. His immortal might gushed forth as a terrifying shadow phoenix manifested in the air, blocking their path. Dong Xingting and Zi Yunwu's eyes flashed when they saw this scene. The two of them exchanged glances, feeling that things were getting troublesome. If they were blocked by this protector, Qin Wentian might be able to flee. Dong Xingting and Zi Yunwu, who was at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation, were already more than sufficient to kill Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunxi. In addition, they had many immortal weapons in their hands while the immortal weapons of their opponents were useless. You deal with him, the two of us will continue our pursuit. Zi Yunwu decisively commanded. The eyes of the protector flickered as he nodded. Zi Yunwu also had many treasures on him. The two of them were in an invincible position. Dongxing Ting's flying shuttle took a detour, arcing through the air with lightning speed, causing the Namhuang clan's expert to start. Dongxing Ting took the initiative to take a detour and chase after him, saving her the trouble. She only needed to deal with the person in front of her. In the situation where we don't use immortal ranked weapons, we would still be at a disadvantage against the two of them. Dongxing Ting is the son of Dongxing Heaven Emperor, and that young man seems to be the successor of Zidi. He should have many treasures on him. Namhuang Yunshi spoke to Qin Wentian. I know. Qin Wentian nodded. Keep going. All right. Namhuang Yunshi didn't know what Qin Wentian was thinking in his heart. But seeing how confident he was, she knew that he must have a way to deal with Dongxing Ting. Qin Wentian, you won't be able to escape. Behind them, a sound wave gushed over, causing the ancient mountains to reverberate. Qin Wentian shuttled through the ancient mountains, occasionally encountering divine aura attacks. However, he guarded his heart and mind, resisting the divine aura attacks. Qin Wentian and his companions arrived at a flat area. His silhouette flickered as he waved his hands. An instant later, a rumbling sound rang out as an incomparably gigantic ancient city floated in the air. This was none other than the Drifts Now city. Qi. Dongxing Ting, who was behind them, directly controlled the flying shuttle and soared into the air. The roulette in his hands enlarged, blotting out the skies as its aura swallowed the heavens. Even the Drifts Now city was trembling from the pressure. What grade of immortal ranked weapon is that? Namhuang Yunshi's beautiful eyes stared up at the air. Dongxing Ting's roulette was like the king of weapons, able to devour all immortal ranked weapons. Rumble. Qin Wentian stepped out as the bell chimes rang out. A fearsome arrow pierced through the air, but Dongxing Ting had the roulette in his hands, blocking in front of him. Those immortal ranked arrows were all sucked into the vortex of the roulette. An incomparably tyrannical devouring energy enveloped the ancient city, causing it to tremble even more violently. Namhuang Yunshi could only keep her phoenix boat. With this in hand, in addition to Dongxing Ting's protectors, even if there are as many experts as the clouds in the ancient mountain, it would be as difficult as ascending the heavens to kill him. However, Dongxing Ting chose a path of death. Qin Wentian's eyes were cold as killing intent flickered in them. He kept the Drifts Now city and continued forward with Namhuang Yunshi. Do you think you can still escape? A cold smile appeared on Dongxing Ting's face. His long hair fluttered in the wind, exuding an incomparably tyrannical aura. The roulette shrank as he stepped on his flying shuttle and Zi Yunwu, flying towards Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunshi. At this distance, Qin Wentian would no longer be able to escape from his grasp. Let's descend. An area surrounded by mountains appeared before them. Qin Wentian brought Namhuang Yunshi and directly entered. Dongxing Ting and Zi Yunwu sped ahead, and finally, Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunshi stopped fleeing. Driving the flying shuttle, Dongxing Ting and Zi Yunwu floated in the air, coldly staring at Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunshi. Holy Maiden of the Southern Phoenix, there's no need for you to interfere now. Why don't you leave this place? Dongxing Ting spoke to Namhuang Yunshi. Namhuang Yunshi clearly had an immortal sense in her body. Although immortal sense couldn't exist in this ancient mountain, if he acted against Namhuang Yunshi, the people of the Namhuang clan would surely know of it. If not, he would definitely make Namhuang Yunshi pay a price for her actions. This woman had a lofty status and was also extremely beautiful. Nanfeng Yunshi could sense the evil intent in Dongxing Ting's eyes. A cold light flickered in her eyes, but at this moment, Qin Wentian's body trembled violently as he retreated unceasingly. Bolts of lightning seemed to be invading his sea of consciousness. Nanfeng Yunshi inclined her head as her gaze trembled violently. Only now did she discover that the four walls of the mountain actually contained a terrifying divine might, as though they were all divinities. rumble. She took a step back as she groaned in misery. Dong Ting and Zi Yunwu both felt that something was wrong. The divine essence of this place seemed to be extremely strong. Qin Wentian actually fled to such a place. Don't look at the rampart. Qin Wentian spoke to Nam Huang Yunxi. He didn't even dare to release his perception or he might be attacked by the divine essence. Dong Ting and Zi Yunwu also discovered this point. They stared at Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi, focusing all their attention on them. Qin Wentian, how do you want to die? Dong Ting spoke in arrogance. Are you so confident? Qin Wentian stared at Dong Ting. Back then in front of me, you were merely an ant from a country bumpkin world. Do you really think you can soar to become a dragon with a single leap? You will forever be a lowly existence. Even if you managed to climb up to the Nam Huang clan and Qing her, it would still be a path of death. After you die, I will follow my father to the Evergreen Kingdom and pay a visit to the Azure Emperor. At the same time, I will also take a look at Qing her. As Dong Ting spoke, a pair of gloves appeared in his hands, exuding a powerful immortal might. Dong Ting, are you so afraid of me? Why must you be so cautious? Qin Wentian laughed mockingly when he saw Dong Ting's actions. He then turned to Zi Yunwu. Are you Zidi's successor? I'm Zi Yunwu, Zidi is my uncle. Now that Daoyang has fallen, you have to accompany him in death. Zi Yunwu coldly spoke. A towering violet light radiated from him, exuding an indestructible might. This was none other than Zidi's ultimate art, the ultimate violet saint immortal art. Zi Yunwu, who was at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation, unleashed such power. His strength was many times stronger compared to Zi Daoyang. Who is it? At this moment, Zi Yunwu abruptly turned his head. After which, he saw a man and a demon walking into this place surrounded by mountains. This man was wearing a bronze mask, and his eyes that were exposed were exceptionally cold. Sir, this matter has nothing to do with you. Leave quickly. Zi Yunwu flicked his sleeves. Bzz. That mysterious figure abruptly released a diagram. This diagram transformed into a gigantic one that soared up into the air, blotting out the sun and sealing the space above. Terrifying black runic light circulated around the diagram, causing Dong Ting and Zi Yunwu to furrow their brows. Dong Ting waved his hand as the gigantic will expanded in size. A terrifying devouring might gushed towards the diagram as a silvery light enveloped it, wanting to devour it whole. However, the devouring might seemed to be blocked by a strange energy. The runic inscriptions on the diagram flowed, sealing the energy that got near it. The roulette actually had no way to devour it. Hand over all your immortal rank treasures to me. The bronze-masked man spoke. Dong Ting and Zi Yunwu's countenances sank as cold smiles appeared on their faces. Hand them over to him. How can this be possible? Sir, don't court death. Dong Ting stared at the bronze-masked man as he threatened. How about we join forces? The bronze-masked man stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. Sure. Qin Wentian nodded. You are courting death. Dong Ting's expression turned ashen. He stared at Zi Yunwu. Brother Zi, kill him first. I will fight for you. Emicham, Zi Yunwu nodded. The might of his immortal foundation erupted forth as a terrifying violet giant appeared behind him. His entire body circulated with violet light, containing a supreme might within. Boom! Stepping out, Zi Yunwu stepped towards the bronze-masked man. He lifted his palm and blasted out a violet palm imprint that could destroy everything, exuding a terrifying might. A diagram flew out from the body of the bronze-masked man. It resembled a gigantic yin-yang fish that revolved frenziedly. One yin, one yang, Qinkuan, the 8 trigrams. A powerful sealing energy gushed forth from within and the diagram seemed to have become a living being. The tyrannical violet palm imprint slammed into the bronze-masked man, shattering the diagram. Seal. Zi Yunwu's eyes flickered. The diagram grew larger and larger, illuminating the air. The incomparably gigantic yin-yang fish swam about as beams of yin-yang light cascaded down on him. He only felt his immortal foundation trembling as a formless sealing energy bore down on him, wanting to seal his immortal foundation. Break! Zi Yunwu roared and stepped out. A long purple spear appeared in his hand. With a loud rumbling sound, he shot it out. The long spear expanded and became tens of feet long. It aimed to kill everything in its path, wanting to pin his opponent to death. Boom! The bronze-masked man blasted out with his palms as a terrifying sealing diagram appeared in front of him. The long spear pierced into the diagram and paused for a moment before a thunderous sound rang out, shattering the seal. The black dog beside the bronze-masked man let out a howl as its body grew incomparably large. It slashed out with its sharp claws, and a similar sealing diagram appeared on its claws. This caused Zi Yunwu's countenance to turn extremely unsightly. This type of power was extremely annoying. Dongxing Ting stared at the battle as he furrowed his brows. At this moment, Qin Wentian spoke, "I'm afraid it's not possible for you to rely on Zi Yunwu." Dongxing Ting's gaze landed on Qin Wentian as his killing intent gushed forth. He coldly spoke, "Even if I'm alone, do you really think I won't be able to kill you? So confident? After equipping yourself with an immortal-ranked weapon, your guts grew a little bigger. However, your cowardly nature hasn't changed at all." Qin Wentian's countenance turned cold. Dongxing Ting was clad in a divine armor and wielded a spinning disc that could devour immortal-ranked weapons. Both his hands were covered with gloves, he was truly fully equipped. Rumble! Dongxing Ting's immortal might erupted forth as he cursed the bronze-masked man in his heart. Initially, it would be extremely easy for him and Zi Yunwu to kill Qin Wentian. But that damnable fellow appeared and changed the situation. But even so, he would still kill Qin Wentian here. The ending wouldn't change. At this moment, the diagram enveloping this entire space unceasingly radiated runic energy. That terrifying sealing energy completely sealed this entire space. Chapter 1067. Dongxing Ting naturally also discovered the sealing effect of this treasure. This gigantic diagram contained the ability to seal space. That immortal-ranked treasure in his hand was something the Dongxing Heaven Emperor intentionally gave to him. Its grade was exceedingly high and it wasn't like other attack-type immortal-ranked treasures that couldn't be controlled. As long as this treasure was activated, it would be able to unleash an overwhelming might, devouring the immortal energy of all immortal-ranked treasures. Even the attacks of the Drifts Now city wouldn't be able to do anything to it. However, the only reason why it was suppressed was because the surface of the diagram was flowing with sealing energy, causing the immortal energy of the treasure in his hand to have no way to affect it. He had no idea what the identity of this mysterious expert was, he actually wanted to snatch his treasure. But now, he could only kill Qin Wentian first before dealing with that mysterious expert. Boom! Qin Wentian released his immortal foundation. His perfect saint-grade immortal foundation shone with a dazzling immortal light as rumbling sounds rang out from his body, trembling unceasingly. 10,000 meters of immortal light appeared above Qin Wentian's head as a phenomenon manifested. Beams of immortal light shot towards Dongxing Ting, transforming into a diagram of different colors. There were swords that could annihilate everything, giants that could suppress everything, ancient halberds that could destroy everything. Dongxing Ting lifted the spinning wheel in front of him. The terrifying beams of immortal light shot into it and were all devoured by the spinning wheel. As long as it was immortal energy, it would be devoured. There was simply no solution to this. That old dog Eastern Sage is truly willing to part with it. If you die, this powerful immortal-ranked treasure would be lost as well. Most probably, that old dog Eastern Sage would feel heartache for a period of time. Qin Wentian naturally could tell how precious the immortal-ranked treasure in Dongxing Ting's hand was. Dongxing Ting dared to come here because he was relying on this treasure. You are already a person who is about to die, yet you still dare to be so stubborn. Dongxing Ting's immortal energy seeped into the glove, instantly gushing forth with terrifying might. Dongxing Ting punched out with rage, transforming into a series of gigantic fists that swept across the heavens and earth, capable of destroying everything. In fact, a terrifying killing intent could be seen flickering within. Rumbling sounds rang out as Qin Wentian's body expanded in size. It was as though he wanted to break through this sealed space. His god's hand blasted out, blotting out the sky as it blasted towards Dongxingting. Since long-range attacks would be devoured by his opponent's treasure, he might as well use his strongest attack. This god's hand truly blotted out the sky, able to cover everything. The roulette in Dongxingting's hand expanded in size, frenziedly devouring the immortal might. With a thunderous boom, the god's hand slammed into the roulette and was forced back. Useless! Qin Wentian roared. He then spoke to Nanfeng Yunxi, since he is so cowardly, why don't you stand behind him and see how he is going to defend himself? Right. Namhuang Yunxi's silhouette flickered as a pair of phoenix wings appeared on her back. Her entire person was enveloped by a holy phoenix glow as a gigantic phoenix phantom appeared in the air, exuding boundless might. She then circled behind Dongxingting. Since you are so shameless, I won't be polite with you then. Qin Wendian spoke. Nanfeng, use your immortal rank treasure. If he absorbs it, you should do the same. I want to see how fast his movements are. As the sound of his voice faded, a demon's sword appeared in Qin Wentian's hand. The demon's sword sliced through his finger as fresh blood dripped onto it. Instantly, the demon's sword was dyed red as a terrifying demonic might gushed forth, engulfing the heavens and earth. Boom! The demon's sword grew incomparably gigantic, perfectly matching Qin Wentian's current size. God's hand grabbed onto the demon's sword as a supreme sharpness gushed forth, lacerating everything. Absorb it for me. Dongxingting pointed the roulette wheel at the demon's sword in Qin Wentian's hand when he saw this scene. Behind him, Namhuang Yunxi moved like a bolt of lightning. A pair of phoenix wings appeared on her back as a fiery red phoenix spear appeared in her hands. She directly stabbed it towards Dongxingting's back. Towering flames towered up into the sky as the cry of an ancient phoenix rang out. Dongxingting tilted his body and abruptly adjusted the direction of the roulette wheel, aiming it in the direction of Namhuang Yunxi. Boom! Qin Wentian's demon sword ferociously slashed down, wanting to cleave apart the void. The shadow of a towering great rock slammed down, causing Dongxingting's countenance to turn ashen. He hurriedly lifted the roulette wheel to block the attack above his head. Qin Wentian's demon sword directly slashed down, the terrifying might slamming into the roulette wheel. With a thunderous boom, Dongxingting's body was buried deep into the ground. I told you to swallow it. Qin Wentian roared. The demon sword expanded in size once more, piercing through space and slamming into Dongxingting. Dongxingting roared in rage. The demon sword trembled as he struggled to get up. Qin Wentian's body trembled as he directly stepped on the demon's sword. With a thunderous boom, Dongxingting, who wanted to get up, was once again buried deep into the ground as his face turned red. Without these immortal rank treasures, you are nothing but trash. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. On the other side, Zi Yunwu's countenance drastically changed when he saw the situation. He wanted to escape, but the sealing energy of the mysterious masked young man was too terrifying. If he was the slightest bit careless, his immortal energy and immortal foundation would all be sealed. He could only brace himself and continue fighting, not giving his opponent any chance. Namhuang Yunxi stabbed her phoenix spear towards Dongxingting. Dongxingting roared in rage as he punched out with his right fist. Phoenix slash. Namhuang Yunxi coldly snorted. Countless spear shadows manifested, transforming into numerous phoenixes that smashed apart Dongxingting's fist light. Qin Wentian's gigantic body appeared directly above Dongxingting as he stomped down ruthlessly. With a piercing sound, Dongxingting groaned in agony as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He no longer resisted the pressure and chose to sink deeper into the ground, bringing the roulette wheel along with him. Truly courting death. Qin Wentian coldly laughed when he saw this scene. After which, he slammed his fist into the ground, causing the entire earth to tremble violently. The destructive sword might from the impact caused the earth to crumble as countless dust particles floated up into the air. Dong Xingting's figure appeared, his entire body trembled violently as he coughed out blood unceasingly. The demon's sword hummed as it flew up. Qin Wendian grabbed the hilt of the sword and slashed downwards. Although Dong Xingting was injured, he could only brace himself and use the immortal rank treasure to block above his head. The terrifying devouring energy caused the demon's sword to accelerate even faster, ruthlessly piercing into the roulette wheel, causing Dong Xingting to lose his grip. However, the demon's sword actually sank deeper and deeper into the roulette wheel. "Swallow it for me!" Dong Xingting roared in rage. The roulette wheel transformed into a bottomless pit. Dong Xingting's eyes flashed with a ruthless light, he still placed his hopes on this treasure. Nam Huang Yunqi's silhouette descended once more as the might of her immortal foundation gushed forth. Terrifying phoenixes destroyed everything. Dong Xingting lifted his palms to defend while staring at Nam Huang Yunqi. "I have no grudge with the Nam Huang clan, why must you bully me so much? Rise!" Qin Wendian roared in rage. He actually swung the demon's sword and smashed it towards the side. With a thunderous boom, Dong Xingting and the roulette wheel were smashed into the runes of the ceiling runes. The roulette wheel in his hands finally fell out of his grasp. Qin Wendian kept the demon's sword. At this moment, the light from the roulette wheel dimmed. Qin Wendian directly kept it. "You!" Dong Xingting's eyes turned red as he stared at Qin Wendian. His countenance was as pale as paper. A treasure appeared in his hands and he directly crushed it. An intense spatial light enveloped him as he transformed into a beam of light, wanting to rush out. However, an instant later, a thunderous boom rang out as he was rebounded back. Staring at the runes of the ceiling runes, Dong Xingting's countenance turned ashen. This ceiling rune seemed to be there to prevent him from escaping. "How do you want to die?" An expression of mockery appeared on Qin Wendian's face when he saw Dong Xingting's actions. The demon's sword expanded in size once more as it slashed out once more, smashing onto Dong Xingting's body. Dong Xingting was once again smashed into the ceiling runic inscriptions, causing countless bones in his body to break as he coughed out blood unceasingly. "If you dare to kill me, my royal father will spare no cost to kill you. Your family and friends will all die." Dong Xingting howled in rage. What welcomed him was yet another violent attack, causing Dong Xingting's entire body to go limp as he slid down the wall like a corpse. "Seems like the immortal sense in your body is a life-saving one. As long as I don't kill you, it won't be triggered." Qin Wendian's eyes were incomparably cold. He stared at Dong Xingting and kept the demon's sword. His body also reverted back to its normal size as he flew towards Dong Xingting. Dong Xingting stared at the mocking gaze in Qin Wendian's eyes as he almost went crazy. He was the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, a lofty young master of the Dongshengshan Gate. His heart had always been filled with an incomparably strong sense of pride. He looked down on Qin Wendian, but in the depths of his heart, he was jealous of Qin Wendian. He wanted to make use of the opportunity in the ancient mountain to kill Qin Wendian. When he saw Qin Wendian fleeing, he felt very happy, enjoying the feeling of chasing after Qin Wendian. In his eyes, Qin Wendian was like an ant, there was no way for him to escape. But from the looks of things now, everything seemed extremely strange. He felt that something was wrong, but as for what was wrong, he had no way to pinpoint it. Right now, Qin Wendian was looking down on him, trampling on his dignity and controlling his life. "You treasure the people of that particle world very much, right? Back then when my royal father led his army to the particle world, I heard that you didn't want to start a war there. If you dare to kill me, my royal father will make sure that everyone you know will be buried together with you. I can guarantee that." Dong Xingting roared. "The more you threaten me, the more you tell me how weak you are right now. You want to threaten me, wanting me to spare your lowly life? But do you think it's possible?" Qin Wendian mocked. His palms slammed into Dong Xingting's body, controlling his strength perfectly, causing Dong Xingting's bones to shatter unceasingly. His screams of agony rang out unceasingly as he slumped weakly onto the ground. However, he still had a trace of hope. He was an immortal foundation expert. As long as his immortal foundation wasn't broken and he didn't die, he would be able to recover from any injuries. Do you still remember the first time we met? What was the gaze in your eyes when you looked at me? At that time, did you ever imagine that today would come? Qin Wendian spoke. The gaze Dong Xingting used to look at Qin Wendian was the same as the gaze he used to look at Qin Wendian back then. Mockery, disdain, like he was looking at an ant. Before you kill me, my royal father's immortal sense will appear. I bet that you won't dare to kill me. Dong Xingting still wanted to give himself the confidence to live on. Chapter 1068. You are truly confident enough. Qin Wendian laughed mockingly. This Dong Xingting actually thought that he, Qin Wendian, wouldn't dare to kill him in case the Dongxing Heaven Emperor took revenge on him. Dong Xingting's eyes were fixed on Qin Wendian. When he saw the cold smile on Qin Wendian's face, he felt a chill in his heart. Could it be that Qin Wendian really dared to kill him? As he thought of this, terror appeared in Dong Xingting's heart. However, at this moment, Qin Wendian no longer looked at him. He turned to Nam Huang Yunxi and spoke, Yunxi, look after him. I will go deal with Zi Yunwu. Right. Nam Huang Yunxi nodded. Qin Wendian then walked towards another direction. At this moment, Zi Yunwu was already in a state of panic. The combat methods of the mysterious man before him were too bizarre. Not only that, his immortal foundation was also perfect. That yin-yang fish shot out beams of light, sealing his immortal energy unceasingly, causing him to feel extremely uncomfortable. That black dog was also very powerful. It was like a black specter, and its speed was frighteningly fast. Moreover, it was also proficient in sealing power. At this moment, Qin Wendian walked over, causing Zi Yunwu's countenance to turn pale. He stared at the mysterious masked man and spoke, Sir, since you want the immortal weapon, I will give it to you. I gave you a chance earlier. Now, I will take it myself. The mysterious man replied in a hoarse voice. Numerous yin-yang fish shot out, sealing the attacks, immortal energy and even immortal foundation of Zi Yunwu. The demon sword in Qin Wendian's hand hummed as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. He abruptly rushed out and slashed out with his sword. The shadow of a great rock manifested, transforming into a great rock sword that slashed apart the void. The violet-colored immortal weapon in Zi Yunwu's hand blasted out, blocking Qin Wendian's attack. The sharp claws of the black hound lunged over. Zi Yunwu howled madly as he punched out with his other hand, colliding head-on with the black hound. On the other side, the immortal might of the mysterious mask expert gushed forth as numerous yin-yang fish diagrams gushed into Zi Yunwu's body. Zi Yunwu only felt his immortal energy circulating smoothly as his countenance turned pale. He wanted to retract his palm, yet he only saw Qin Wendian laughing. The demon sword in his hand unleashed a terrifying storm of sword chi, lacerating everything as it pierced towards him. Zi Yunwu took out a life-saving spatial treasure. Just like Dong Xingting, he wanted to flee. A beam of light shot up into the clouds, but Zi Yunwu didn't move at all. That spatial energy was blocked by the sealing energy in the air, he had no way to exit. At this moment, the mysterious bronze mask expert directly imprinted his palm on Zi Yunwu's body. A huge yin-yang fish diagram drilled into Zi Yunwu's body, and the immortal light on Zi Yunwu's body dimmed. The bronze mask expert blasted out with both palms as the immortal light from his immortal foundation flowed unceasingly into Zi Yunwu's body. Gradually, the immortal might radiating from Zi Yunwu dissipated. His immortal foundation was actually sealed by the yin-yang fish diagram. Whatever you want, I will give it to you. If you kill me, my uncle will never spare you. Zi Yunwu roared at the bronze-masked expert. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wendian's demon sword was already pressed against his neck. Zi Yunwu's countenance was as pale as paper. He turned his head and stared at Qin Wendian. What about me? Qin Wendian smiled at Zi Yunwu. But when this smile landed on Zi Yunwu's face, it seemed extremely bizarre. Everything in the past shall be written off. Zi Yunwu spoke to Qin Wendian. Are you joking with me? Qin Wendian spoke. I didn't say to kill Zi Daoyang, yet you guys want my life? You don't have the guts to slaughter your way to the myriad devil islands? Seems like you guys think that I, Qin Wendian, am a pushover. As for writing off everything, who do you think you are? Are you qualified to make the decision for Zidi? I will plead with my uncle for mercy. Zi Yunwu replied. Qin Wendian had a mocking smile on his face. He stared at the demon's sword on Zi Yunwu's neck as he spoke. Do you think Zidi's immortal sense would be able to react in time if I slash down with this sword? Zi Yunwu's countenance turned pale. However, I don't have much interest in this. Qin Wendian had a devilish smile on his face. That bronze-masked figure had already started to collect all the treasures and interspatial rings on Zi Yunwu's body. After that, he walked towards Dongxing Ting. Nam Huang Yunxi stared at the mysterious bronze-masked figure as a look of bewilderment flashed in her eyes. Her beautiful eyes turned to Qin Wendian only to see Qin Wendian nodding his head to her before stepping aside, allowing the bronze-masked figure to collect the treasures on Dongxing Ting's body. Spare me and help me kill Qin Wendian. I guarantee that you will obtain even more treasures in the future. Dongxing Ting spoke in a low voice to the bronze-masked figure, tempting him to deal with Qin Wendian. However, the bronze-masked figure merely glanced at him coldly, ignoring him. I'm the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. As long as you do as I say, I won't go back on my words. Dongxing Ting continued. However, he only saw the bronze-masked figure stretching out his hand and supporting his head, as though he was dragging a pet. Dongxing Ting's countenance turned extremely ugly to behold. As the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, how lofty a status was he? Yet now, he was actually being dragged on the ground by someone else. The bronze-masked figure dragged Dongxing Ting to a location not far away from Zi Yunwu and tossed him there, as though he was a dead dog. What do you want? Dongxing Ting's body trembled slightly. Being humiliated in such a manner, he could faintly sense that he was walking step by step towards death. Nobody bothered with him, he only saw the mocking look in Qin Wendian's eyes. Qin Wendian's gaze was filled with coldness when he stared at the two of them. Since this is the case, let them pay the price for it. Yunxi. Qin Wendian turned his gaze to Nam Huang Yunxi. Nam Huang Yunxi walked over. Even now, she was filled with bewilderment in her heart. Why was Qin Wendian so confident that he would be able to kill Zi Yunwu and Dongxing Ting? One must know that Qin Wendian had always held the advantage. Also, why did that bronze-masked figure appear at such a timely time, when he was dealing with Zi Yunwu and Dongxing Ting? Why didn't he have the slightest intention to rob Qin Wendian and Qin Wendian? In fact, he even cooperated with her and Qin Wendian. This caused many questions to appear in Nam Huang Yunxi's heart. When Zi Yunwu and Dongxing Ting saw that the bronze-masked figure was methodically punishing them while Qin Wendian stood at the side and watched on, the two of them suddenly felt a chill running down their spines as a chill ran down their spines. Dongxing Ting stared fixedly at Qin Wendian and the bronze-masked figure. Did they know each other? Who are you? Dongxing Ting's eyes turned ashen as he stared at the bronze-masked figure. Evidently, he had thought of something. How could everything be so coincidental? Sealing this space, cutting off their path of retreat. Was this really a coincidence? You guys. Zi Yunwu also felt his entire body turning cold. However, he only saw the bronze-masked man walking in front of him and directly slamming his palm onto Zi Yunwu's body. A powerful sealing energy frenziedly permeated into Zi Yunwu's body. Zi Yunwu only felt that his immortal energy was completely sealed as a powerful sealing energy ravaged his body. Very swiftly, Zi Yunwu felt that his entire body was filled with sealing runes. What are you doing? Zi Yunwu wanted to speak but he gradually discovered that he couldn't even speak. His entire person seemed to have fallen into a sealing curse as a sense of fear of death involuntarily rose in his heart. He no longer had the slightest bit of hope as his entire body trembled uncontrollably. Dongxing Ting stood at the side and watched on. His entire body was limp and he too, was trembling. It was as though he knew that the god of death was nearing him step by step. Qin Wendian stared at Dong Xingting, and coincidentally, Dong Xingting was also looking at him. Qin Wendian, please spare me this time. In the future, I will definitely not find trouble with you again. Dong Xingting's voice was filled with terror. He finally admitted defeat and no longer dared to use a threatening tone to speak to Qin Wendian. Instead, he was pleading. Didn't you say that I would die for sure in the ancient mountain? Qin Wendian coldly spoke. Spare him. If the one who lost was him, Qin Wendian, there was no doubt that he would be killed mercilessly by Dong Xingting. He even threatened to kill the people of the light particle world and said that he would head to the Evergreen Kingdom to pay a visit to Qing. Did he, Dong Xingting, still want to live? I admit that we had some conflicts in the past, but everything is over now. As long as you spare me, I can guarantee that I will persuade my father to let bygones be bygones. Dong Xingting was truly panicking, his voice was extremely weak. Persuade your father to let bygones be bygones? A cold smile appeared on Qin Wendian's face. Sadly, I don't intend to spare that old dog Eastern sage. After speaking, he turned to Nam Huang Yunxi and spoke, Yunxi, let's go. Nam Huang Yunxi started before nodding her head. After which, Qin Wendian and Nam Huang Yunxi soared into the air. With a wave of his hand, an opening appeared in the void as Qin Wendian and Nam Huang Yunxi walked out from it. Dong Xingting stared fixedly at the bronze-masked man. Who are you exactly? No matter what you want, I can agree to it as long as you spare me. The bronze-masked man walked to his side and just like how he dealt with Zi Yunwu, he placed a palm imprint on Dong Xingting's body. Very swiftly, Dong Xingting's entire body was covered with terrifying sealing runes. After doing all this, the bronze-masked man waved his hands as the sealing runes on the 4 mountain ramparts faded away, revealing the majestic divine essence of the ramparts. He and the Black Hound floated up and flew towards one of the ramparts, leaving behind Zi Yunwu and Dong Xingting. The two of them had no way to speak, they were filled with despair as though they were waiting for the best execution. The bronze-masked man waved his hand and gathered his immortal power into an arrow, aiming it at Zi Yunwu. No. Zi Yunwu wanted to scream, but he found that he couldn't make a sound. Bzzz. The arrow pierced through the air, aiming for Zi Yunwu's heart. An incomparably tyrannical might directly bore down on him, and with a piercing sound, the arrow pierced through. A terrifying aura gushed forth as the tyrannical figure of the Violet Emperor descended. He roared in rage, and with a single glance, he saw the mysterious figure in the bronze mask, as well as the mountain rampart behind him. That powerful divine sense instantly gushed forth, rushing into the immortal sense of the Violet Emperor. The immortal sense of the Violet Emperor grabbed Zi Yunwu and soared up into the air, wanting to flee. However, at the next instant, the killing intent of the divine aura gushed forth, causing the immortal sense of the Violet Emperor to crumble apart. Zi Yunwu's body plummeted downwards from the air. He still had a breath of life left in him, but at this moment, numerous arrows of destruction shot towards him, piercing into his immortal foundation, his heart, and his head, nailing him to the ground. Dong Xingting closed his eyes, he didn't dare to look at this scene. His entire body was limp, and after that, the arrows shot out once again. My son. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor's immortal sense appeared. When he saw Dong Xingting's miserable state as well as that bronze-masked man, his immortal sense flickered with boundless killing intent as he directly attacked the bronze-masked man. But similarly, he didn't manage to escape from the divine essence of the ancient mountain. Dong Xingting was in despair. At this moment, he was so frightened that his soul left his body. He saw the bronze-masked man walking towards him, his cold eyes resembling the eyes of the Grim Reaper. Dong Xingting's lips moved as though he wanted to ask, "Who are you? Tell me, who am I?" The bronze-masked man spoke. This time around, he spoke in a normal voice. Upon hearing this voice, as well as the mocking gaze in his eyes, Dong Xingting felt as though his soul had fallen into the depths of hell. Even when he died, he didn't close his eyes.